If I pull up the
checker.
YouTube, I could see the comments too, right?
Yes. Well, I'm gonna have them here so we
You're
can
gonna
read
have
them
them there?
together. Yeah, on
Okay,
this
cool.
thing.
Okay.
What's up, guys? We live. We're trying to work all this out together. I'm glad
Woo.
Jiba got here before us. This man right here, he is half hippie, but all amazing. All man, all amazing. That's the Wex. I'm Jason. Get ready. Part 2 of 3 of amazing guests. The episode starts right now. What up, Wex?
What up, Jason?
Come on, let's go.
Let's go, man.
I'm going to go on the edit yourself, tech your own show split screen. There we are, people. Guys, for those of you that wanted a little bit more, don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to click share and subscribe if you like what you see. Of course, we had a great weekend.
Yes, we did.
We when you go in your head, a sonogram of your psychological head, there's an image of a demon. And when I ask what your name inside your head is, they say Legion, for we are many. Your mind works so many ways. And again, guys, I got Aaron on some not ready stuff, but I feel like he's always ready. So let's get some of the subject matter that's amazing. And just reminding you, as a multiple time guest, this is not an interview. This is a podcast. So come up with it. Come with it. I'd like to start the podcast from present to past. A little post-game thing that we usually see Kyle and Rich do, that like after the thing out of whatever. And we have the unfair advantage of 2 days of just letting it set in, where I think them being prisoner of the moments work for them, but because I'm smarter than they are, I think it works for me either way. Just kidding. Especially Rich Lambourne, who is the dude reminds me of Beast from X-Men. He is so like intellectually spoken, and then he's muscular, and
a wealth of knowledge, I'd say.
How about that?
Right. A wealth of knowledge. Just a great perspective from indoor libero, gold medal, to Taylor and Jake coach, to commentator, and just kind of lives and breathes volleyball.
Well, let's start with the two of them really quickly. I thought they what they did, unwittingly or not, was he and Casey Patterson had color commentary and a little bit of podcast mode when they needed, and then back to calling the match, which not everyone can do.
Right.
And I definitely won't give them credit for originality. But they were good.
They were
good.
Great dynamic, and love Casey, right?
Yes.
Shout out Casey. You know, I mean, just like a guy who just wants to be there. Number one,
right?
You know, Casey Patterson, and you know, I believe is a multiple time champion at Huntington. Is he multiple?
Has to be.
I mean, he's a winner.
Well,
Olympian. You know.
Sorry, I didn't want to kill him, Mike. Yeah.
But no, they're great. You know, and
good thing is you're up to the mic, so you want to pump your own volume. Like me, I'm an old man. I like yelling in my own ear.
Can I just real quickly say,
please,
from the whole volleyball community, thank you, Jason. Thank you from everyone in the volleyball community for putting your time and effort and energy and resources into this. You know, I'm a business owner. I'm a podcaster as well, but to see you, I'm sitting here in your awesome studio, you know, in Hermosa Beach volleyball capital of the world. And then to see you with your setups at these beach volleyball events and, you know, the AVP events and the Mother Load and everywhere, man, you show up and you put in the work and the effort and the time and the energy. And I just want to represent the whole volleyball community, specifically the beach volleyball community, to express the gratitude. Thank you. You know,
well,
yeah,
2 ways. One, I'm not going to cry.
No,
and
it's
two,
cool.
No, I'm actually kidding. What I meant to say was I appreciate that. Because it comes from you, and it comes from this original place. It comes from this grounded and honest place.
Absolutely.
Which it's great that we mentioned Casey, because as far as grounded and being honest, he's always kind of been that guy, right?
Yeah. He has.
I think I'd like to respond by saying that who would I be if I didn't promise consistency in being real.
Yeah.
Who would I be if I didn't promise that I wanted to grow the game, that I
Yeah.
wanted it to be all inclusive,
Yeah.
right? If you
Right.
look at the guest list, I got guys who won gold medals. I got guys who never even won a qualifier match,
Yeah.
right? So, who would I be if I were any different than what I've become now? It's cost me work, but
Right.
I sleep at night. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate that because the comment section after the live chat
Yeah.
um, parroted your sentiment.
Yeah.
And I would like to return that by saying, I really appreciate you coming the last two matches. We got to go one women's match
Yeah.
and one men's match. And the women's match could have been match of the tournament.
It was a
There
great
was
match.
Zolani Hodel
Yeah.
and Tegan Van Gunst.
Yeah.
What's up, Karch? He says he agrees with you. Karch Jiba, sorry. Yeah, Tegan Van Gunst and Zolani Hodel. Zolani's the future of beach volleyball against Julia Scholes or Donlin and what's her partner's name? Oh, Denneberg.
Yeah.
Match of the
That was a great match.
female or male.
Go watch
that
that
was
match.
Probably match of the tournament.
Go watch
You
that
know?
back on Jason's YouTube channel.
Actually, I'm getting
NY
your volume
Varsity
back.
Sports.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah, but I really appreciate that. But
yeah,
let's talk about. I got a chance to cover some of it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to save the best stuff for you, even though he's really good at bringing the best out of me. Last
and he was
podcast,
great. And he was
Angie
great.
Full and Wonder, guys. That was
Yeah.
the most recent, the episode before this.
Yeah.
I'm bunching 3 of them in 2 days, and I got a
it.
surprise guest on Thursday. That might happen or not. But I wanted you to pick, because you're the glass half full guy, and you've always turn my frown upside down at every chance you get, which I don't think you get enough credit for. How does he do it, right? Give me 1 or 2 things, or if you can hit 3 that you left saying, hey, you know what? They got that right. Or I love that part of it. Whether they got it right unwittingly or whether it was their intention, the net result part for the course is what I'd like you to explore.
And just to be clear, we're talking AVP Huntington that
Yes.
just happened. Well, the first thing I'd like to say is the intention for this talk that we're about to have right now is not to bash the AVP at all, right? So if Jason and I are critical at some things, the intention is we want it to thrive. You know, I want it to thrive. I want to just say, firstly, this is a very unique perspective. And I'm not sure if you knew this, Jason, but I have a very unique perspective of the AVP. I am perhaps one of the only people that can say this. I've been a volunteer ball boy for the AVP back in 1998. I was a volunteer intern for the AVP in the early 2000s, or actually the late 90s. I have been a qualifier player. I have been a main draw player, and I have been a coach. And now I'm a podcaster. So I have, and a business owner for youth volleyball. So it's a,
that's the sextupla.
Yeah, I mean,
trifecta, sexfecta.
So everything I'm about to say,
sixfecta.
So everything. So to answer your question and the reflection of the AVP and the Huntington Open, and I'm sure we'll get into more stuff. It's coming from those unique perspectives. I've seen it all, right? And the main intention, I mean, the main perspective is I love it. I want it to thrive. So I just wanted people to hear that, because everything that we're going to say forward is a reflection of those perspectives, right? But the main perspective is let's freaking go, AVP. Come on, right? We want it to thrive.
So okay, that's the good part? Was that
so that's the setup? That's the setup. That's the setup for what I'll say next. So the good part, I'd say, from the AVP Huntington, which just happened this past weekend, which Jason and I did call some matches, which was super fun, by the way. The level of volleyball was awesome. The level of volleyball, beach volleyball, that we got to see and feel and call and basically be a part of, you know, and I got to be a part of it too. I was coaching in the qualifier on Friday. Was a high level. That's awesome. It's the level of the game has definitely increased in such a cool way, and love to see that. The second cool thing was I really liked the setup. I loved how they had courts on both sides of the pier. I actually spent some time on the top of the pier just to kind of get that perspective, looking down, you know, especially.
Oh, you went up there?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially on the qualifier day, because that's kind of when they had multiple courts going. And it reminded me of the old school AVP event where you had this really cool feel of like community and players and coaches and fans and sponsors and an event, right? An event. So that was cool.
Is it my turn to do the positive?
Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
First, I would like to. There were disadvantages to having a smaller center
Yeah.
court, but there were advantages, and the
Sure.
advantages is this: it was smaller, it was intimate, and when it's intimate, it's closer to the
Yeah.
players, and when it's closer to the players, it's more electric.
That's a good point.
You can feel that it allowed the players to take the crowd on more of a journey without having to be these huge extroverts or a dominant force, i.e., Phil Dahlhauser.
Mhm.
So I really enjoyed the intimacy and like the noise, and it was equivalent to actually bigger arenas when you consider
Yeah.
the energy level.
Agreed.
2, the no nonsense qualifier criteria, right? You want to grow the game, you want to make it competitive, you got to, and this. Wow, I'm supposed to be doing positive things. All right, I will say I'm positive that the large percentage of men in the qualifier were convinced that they were going to make the draw, which is not always happens.
It's well said.
With women, for example,
Yep.
in Manhattan Beach, you might have 100 men's team, but you'll have 43 women's teams.
Yep.
But like 30 of them are sure that they're going to get one of the 8 spots. They're there to win. And there wasn't this element of going through the motions of people who were there for nostalgia, which is fun.
Yeah.
But the competitive nature, like what's his name, Diego Perez,
Mhm.
and Hartaler, the Austrian guy,
Yep.
tried to take down Basie and Cueco. That's a match where both of them are worthy, but only one can go.
Right.
You had a tough pool with the Brazilians, Alvaro and Alisson, who
And Alisson,
qualified,
yeah.
right?
Gold
So
medalist.
so the first thing I liked was center court. The second thing I liked was the competitive nature from
Yep.
the qualifier to the draw.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to give up the goods,
Right.
semis and finals. And the third thing I liked about it most of all was just you joining me at the end. Like
Yeah,
I could carry by
totally.
myself, but like having someone who's been a ball boy, who's been an intern, who's
Yeah.
been a main draw player, a qualifier player, and a coach and a commentator
Yeah.
join me. And I'm not one of those guys that likes to appeal to authority for lived experience, but it was my honor, duty, and privilege to punt the analytical to 2-1 Aaron Wexler.
Appreciate
That was the
Thank you.
favorite part of my weekend. And we discovered something at the qualifier.
Yeah.
I got a message from, I'll just leave his name out of it.
Mhm.
Said, your qualifier match got like 1,100 views, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Wow, that was great.
Yeah.
And then I go home, it gets to 2,000. A qualifier match.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, people want to see this.
Yeah.
So
100%.
it was Mother's Day weekend. I got, an okay from the wife. In fact, I got a direct order from the wife. She wanted me to come out. And next thing you know, the viewership went up. And next thing you know, we had this thing where we would go to the comment section on the technical timeouts or the comment section between matches or during the long breaks.
Yep.
And then the comment section stuck around because we were dialoguing with them and more people wanted to jump in. And then the comment section got bigger. And then the next thing you know, we had this snowball growing bigger as we went down the hill. Yeah. And that was just my lived experience just on court 2, which I didn't even leave to the other courts. So you had, you were coaching at the same time and you got street credits. So you got to go to all the courts. So those are the 3 things I liked. I liked the competitive nature.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the other.
Okay. Wait. Before we do that.
Yeah, please.
I wanted to respond to that for a second. I did I'm not a huge fan of the Bally Live feed, but I did like that they created their own YouTube feed.
Right.
That was cool. And I love your YouTube feed.
It was a rescue.
What do you mean?
Because Bally's, I think they were having data rate problems.
I think
like their software, like this little red thing you have over here.
Yeah.
They use the exact same thing to modify, up convert to 4K and this and that. The problem is it's only 59 frames per second.
Got
so if Bally's is 29 frames, what's going to happen is it's going to exceed the max bit rate. And I don't want to talk all technical. I'll leave it at that.
Sure.
And YouTube had that same problem years ago, but they fixed the bug where it recognizes the frames and goes, okay, you want to do this.
I see.
So that's why the YouTube resolution saved them. And I hope AVP is listening, and I hope that production team is listening. That's why YouTube didn't skip, and that's why Bally's did.
Got it. And if AVP is listening, we hope you guys are. We're on your team. We
Yep.
want you guys to thrive, and we're available for you guys too. If you guys want a second court, Jason, the way that you call games is actually super fun to be a part of. I love to do the technical and a little bit of analytics and my observations from a coach and a player perspective. But I love the way that you call the play-by-play. And one more thing about that we did. So I was just at the gym earlier today. I actually listened back to our commentary while I was working out, and it reminded me of Chick Hearn a little bit.
Right.
Because I used to listen to Chick Hearn, RIP Chick Hearn, the best, I think, sportscaster in history for any sport. You could make a case for Vin Scully. But what Chick did so well is that if you wanted to close your eyes or if you were listening on the radio, you could actually paint the picture of the game happening by the words that he was using and the influx that he was using. And I could do that with you a little bit, so that was great. So I just wanted to give you some more kudos on the YouTube experience and the broadcasting experience, which I'm enjoying more and more, man.
Yeah, and we did that off the pure audio off the iPad
Right.
because on a darker note, like my lapel microphones were stolen at Hermosa Beach Open last year. They I actually amongst the other items that got taken. So
Mm,
and I felt like this tournament saved me a little bit as far as me taking time away from the sport.
yeah.
I went through a little bit of a down period,
Yeah. Yeah.
and as I said in the previous podcast, I was just like F everybody,
Yeah.
like the league, the good old Blues Club. You know how I could drink haterade,
Yeah.
and then my wife put in the perspective, and she said, "I know you didn't say that about the players, right?" And my wife was like, they're the ones that picked up the phone and said yes, right?
Right.
When you
Right.
did the podcast,
Right.
right? And they're still coming back. She's
Yeah.
like, how many times did Theo came on? How many times Kristen come back on? How many times, John Mayer, Trevor Crabb, right?
Yeah.
So she was like, wherever your anger is, and I know you're angry, but it's not with them.
Yeah.
And this is where good women save all,
Hmm.
because it reminded me and you, and I guess if I have a fourth caveat, players, thank you. You kept your promises in the off season. You guys looked the conditioning,
It's
the
great.
nutrition, get after it volleyball that we demand from play one. No feeling out process against a team you played 35 times. Don't be feeling each other out. That was good.
It's good.
Some of
It's
the
good.
best volleyball I've seen since 2016.
It looked like everyone was repped out,
Yes,
so to speak, right?
And your eye test. Again, I'm punting. I'm appealing to authority, which is a logical fallacy,
Yeah.
but not in this case.
Yeah.
Your eye test tells you, okay, that guy was chilling in the offseason a
Right.
little bit more. He can still play. He's got some talent, but he wasn't training for this.
Right.
And then you looked at my new favorite guy. I'm a new fan, Evan Cory.
Yeah.
Nutrition.
Yeah.
Crispness. Option. Everything was the checking all of the boxes that you're supposed to do in process and preparation.
And I love his
Great.
authentic vulnerability with his posts. I'm sure you saw that post after
Yeah,
he
I
didn't quite
posted on
make
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Evan Cory, shout out, man. Like we're fans. I'm a fan too. He's just on my podcast recently, and I love that authentic vulnerability. And then one more thing I really like too. I know we're kind of talking about our
why we're here,
experience,
yeah.
but I love the engagement. Even though people were, hey, the score is wrong or change the camera angle. And I loved how you were able to engage back with them. And I think I know we're getting to the AVP stuff, but that's the number one thing that's lacking on the bigger picture, on the big, stadium court stuff. That kind of engagement, I think, is so important. And if anyone's listening right now, engage with us right now. Talk to us.
They have, and the comment section lit up just
great.
Yeah. I mean, you're coming on next, and Kristen's on tomorrow. I expect I might have to get someone to look at this for us.
Yeah.
But I will warn
Awesome.
the AVP that not everybody can do this. I'm not saying take me. Obviously, that's already that ship sailed. But please don't. Make sure you got people that know how to do this. This is a skill. This isn't, some people it comes naturally, but this is a skill.
I agree.
Years and years of mistakes that I've made to get to here.
I agree with you, but I want to just back up for a second. The AVP can still take you, and they probably should. They have multiple courts, and they only have announcers for stadium court, and that's it.
Well, they had Victoria Dennis and my guy,
Okay,
our
so
guy,
2.
Rob Sparrow.
So they have 2 courts.
You want to
So
talk about a hard worker?
no,
God, I love
congratulations to both
Rob.
of those. They're awesome. But I'm saying that's only 2 courts, right? You have stadium and court 1.
Right.
What about court 2? What about, I don't know, 3 or 4 if they have 4 courts? You
I
know?
mean, if I know ahead of time, I wouldn't say no. I
But that would
mean,
be that would be
right.
awesome. And AVP, that's not hard to do. More engagement, more dialogue, more ideas. That's what we need. So anyway,
And that was one of the subject matters that you like sometimes he's coming a bunch of times, and sometimes we're just here to talk crap and have
yeah,
fun,
yeah,
and sometimes we have an agenda,
yeah.
and this is one of the podcasts. I'm going on 240 tomorrow,
Let's go. Congrats.
uh, um where there is an agenda.
Yeah,
There is an agenda that we want to talk about, and we did want to talk about um communication between the fans and the AVP, and sometimes the AVP has to decide because there's logistics and there's
sure,
money in play,
sure.
but clearly they listen to us. Like some of the things I hear the commentators talk about and some of the ideas I actually talked about on previous
We
episodes.
hope so. We hope you're listening, AVP. Come on now,
It's just
AVP.
there's a bunch of coincidences. Like I'll give you an example, like Kevin Burnett,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, maybe he doesn't, he knows of me, he don't know me, but I will tell you this: when I was talking about Rose, like rotation 1 or
hmm
whatever,
hmm
when I was talking about Rose, like the East Coast and Europe doesn't understand it because we don't start people in the worst rotation aside out from, right? 2 days later, he's on a volleyball match talking about Rose. So there's something there, right? There's something, they are listening. And I look, I don't, at this point, I'm free. I've never been so happy, and I had to hit rock bottom, and I had to let all the haterade run out and let something good come in. And you feel it too, just in this
I
room.
do.
This isn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this isn't the hater Jay that you were preparing for.
No, no.
So no, because
No, I felt it when we did the broadcast. I mean, you have a sense of peace when it comes to the whole thing. But you know, this. We are living in a time that's very unique right now. This is the most amount of information being shared
Mhm.
ever in the history of humanity right now. Right. And so knowing that, like, totally, I think it's totally awesome that you have your own YouTube channel, your own platform. You got your own audience. What's up, audience? If you're listening, hello.
Big audience right now,
And it's growing and
bi-coastal audience.
engaged and enthusiastic, and I think that's fantastic. And same with me. I'm growing my audience for within the game, but it's all about sharing information is my
Right.
point. And so that's why I said, if the AVP does want to have you on another court, I
Yeah.
think they would be a little bit foolish not to have you, or, and even maybe whatever they want to do, right? That's their thing.
Yeah.
But
I'm
but to have silent volleyball is not fun. Like I think,
yeah.
and I think people can agree. Can you guys agree? Do you guys like watching volleyball in silence? Do you guys like watching with commentators?
Karj Jiva has been with me for Motherload,
Love it.
Pottstown, that man, NSPN. I call for NSPN in Denver, Court 1 for their
Yeah,
cable
yeah, yeah.
network, and Karj Jiva, the goat names, the
What a
goat,
great
the
name.
greatest of all time, first and last
What a
names.
great
Come
name.
on, man.
Can you give us your real name so we can give you a proper shout out, buddy?
No, no, because in case he says something he don't want or whatever,
That's funny.
right? You gotta come on. We put some respect on that name because we respect that person.
But okay, so going back to the
Mm.
AVP, I'm sure you're getting to the what you didn't like. Is
No,
that
not what I didn't like, but what I'd like to see them do
okay?
better.
Okay, so
I'm
let me.
keeping it
Sure.
half full, baby.
I like that, Jason. All right, the inspired athlete energy's rubbing off on you, bro.
Yo,
Love
guys,
that.
you want to turn hater J into lover J?
I love
You want to
this.
turn that frown upside down? Read The Inspire Athlete. Not brought to you by Pfizer, but brought to you by NY Varsity.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Sports.
Appreciation. New merch too. Just
Guys, in the
dropped.
comment section, please make sure you smash that like button. Helps with the algorithm. Okay.
So what you did right there, that instruction to the audience
Mhm.
is what I would like to see more from the Court 1 commentators, the Court 2 commentators. Talk to us. We are your fans. We are your audience. Tell us what to do. You want us to smash the like button? Great. You want us to, say something about what you're seeing? Great. You want to create a little contest and create like an engagement. Whoever has the best answer wins a free AVP hat.
Mhm.
Awesome. Like,
we're also thick-skinned. If I veer too much and start talking about
yeah,
myself, say the commentary's trash,
say it.
you can be respectful or go the other way. I'm good either way.
No,
Like on the score, look,
we want
on
that.
the score, when I messed up the score, I had total opposites, who was up
Yeah,
one
yeah,
set
yeah. I
to
remember
one or
that.
whatever.
Yeah.
I went to the comments section. I said I had one job.
I know.
Just the one.
But see, you were so light with it, and it made it so fun.
Yeah.
Right. And okay, so the bigger picture, and cut me off if you want, but the bigger picture is like the season. Like there's these events. There's only so many of them. So like when I say we all, like fans, when we all watch this high level volleyball, I think it's great if we all get involved somehow.
Mhm.
Involve me, the fan.
Right.
Involve the fan, right? Engage the fan. And whether it's shot outs, whether it's contests, whether it's whatever the thing may be, like write a comment, I don't know. I can come up with a whole bunch of stuff. Whatever that thing is, instruct your audience what to do, which is what you just did as a podcaster. Smash the like button, subscribe, all those things. Write a comment. Let us know how you like this. And let us know if you don't like this.
This morning I got 200 subscribers from the last
Amazing. Let's
podcast.
go.
From the podcast I just finished.
Incredible.
And
incredible.
I know the viewership says not a lot, but the comment section, there's no way I have more comments from different users than views. That's not so mathematically. This is already messed up anyway, right? Because there's no way how you're gonna have like more different names commenting.
So on that point, I would love to see the AVP have a dedicated staff. You could have one or two people, maybe more, just dedicated.
Because Bally's is a good idea. They do have the comment section there.
Okay,
but if someone's reading it and if they're responding to that, then the comment section grows. Nobody's going to keep commenting if no one hears them.
Correct, but my point was to YouTube. I
Right.
get the Bally thing. If there's a contract in place, totally respect that. Right. I don't want to bash Bally's at all.
No.
But I'm saying from a fan perspective, and I think I can speak for most people, the YouTube experience is where it's at.
Right.
The YouTube experience is I can rewind real quick. I can chat real quick. I can subscribe real quick. It's all right there.
Yeah. And again, I want to show the AVP something.
And
I'm not trying to rat on your Bally's guy, but I'm going to go to camera 2 and show them an example of why the glitches happen. And again, I'm talking as an enthusiast and not an expert at this technical thing. And if if our conversation breaches the category of expert, we will cite as a pretext.
Absolutely.
I'm not an expert, but this is my opinion.
Sure.
So that's called being human, right? So let's go to camera 2, right? This right here is called the Atomos Ninja Flame, right? Now, this is what photographers use as a monitor when they want to, take pictures and record. Mm-hmm. It's just a bigger screen, and it has the function to record. Now, a lot of them don't use this to record because the file's too big. Like this podcast alone is going to be 500 gigs.
Wow.
And you can't whatever. So you have to find a way to shrink it. And anyone that wants lessons on how to shrink it, just hit me up and I'll show you how, because that's how I make all my podcasts. So the problem is that thing only goes frames per second is 59.
Yeah.
So it's a singular whatever. And if the other ones, the resolution, if you have to make the adjustments every time, you're going to have glitch issues. Yeah. YouTube fixed the bug.
Right.
Where they're, I guess AI or whatever says, 59 frames per second, got you.
Right.
I know I sound like I already said that. I get that, but I think that's going to help. So
can I ask your audience real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you guys, do you guys agree with me? Do you guys like the YouTube experience? Do you like the Bally's experience? Do you like something from one or the other? Talk to us. Let us know in the comments and let us know. And one other thing, another idea I had, and I'll just share it right now, Jason, if that's okay, is create a revenue split. Again, I'm not going to talk about Bally's because I don't know their platform. I'll just talk about YouTube because I'm on YouTube, right? My show is monetized on YouTube. But if you could create a revenue split with the AVP and the players, now you're incentivizing the players to go share the link. Go with all your social medias. Hey, go follow the AVP this weekend. And it could be Bally's, okay? It could be, but I'm just talking from the from the YouTube perspective. Go share the link, and then whatever the ad revenue is from that, share it with the players. Create a pool. That's just one idea to help incentivize, right? Because right now it doesn't feel like there's that much incentive anyone to do anything
I'm
in
actually
AVP.
I'm actually going to give this to you since this is your subject
Well,
matter, right? No, because you can pose the question in your own, like the way Aaron knows how. Where on me it comes off not generic,
why don't we go back and forth, bro?
not generic. Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
Let's
we're a
do that.
team. We're a team.
So here is where I'd like to see improvement. If
Wait, but can you just respond to mine? Do you like that idea? Do you like the
I,
revenue share split
I
thing?
do like the revenue share, and I just want to cite for the record for
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
that thought that I did this for revenue purposes. I'd like to show you something. I wanted to let everybody know that I monetized none of these videos.
Mm,
So I just
okay.
want to let everybody I want to
Interesting. I thought you did. All right.
nope.
Okay.
My podcast, yes.
Okay.
Um
Okay.
and Motherload, yeah,
Yeah.
because it was super chat supported. So
Got it.
this is monetized, so like people can actually pay money, $1.99, and have their comment be highlighted.
Hey,
So they could pay money,
drop a super, everybody.
so yeah, so
Yeah.
some of my events are going to be super chat driven, but I want to show everybody something.
Maybe we could donate some money that comes in if you guys want to.
So I want you to check the cash sign on this. Look, see the cash sign is crossed off on all of these.
Yeah.
So that's I'm showing you our receipts.
That's cool, dude.
I monetize none of these videos.
That's actually really cool.
So
AVP, if you're
just
seeing
to let
this,
them know there's things for me.
that's cool.
I don't want to sound like some guy who's got all the money in the world or whatever, but some things are about money and some things were important to me.
Yep.
So I just want people to know
That's
this
cool.
doesn't come from I'm not being an opportunist here
Sure.
or some kind of unfounded suck up. This is not if you pay me money, that's done out of respect.
That's cool.
Give me $1, give me $5. That's called respect. So
Okay.
but I don't want you to lose your train of thought. But I do like this. As far as to answer your question, revenue sharing is cool, but I want to make sure the AVP gets that cut.
Of course, and we want that too.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted people who might be listening or watching this on YouTube to realize that there is a monetization aspect of YouTube, 100%, and it's really cool that you turn that off for those events. That's cool. I hope the AVP really does.
What's my most viewed video?
Your most viewed video?
He just put it on the chat.
Oh, that was the question?
No, I'm asking you because Karch Jiba just posted my most viewed video.
What's your most viewed?
The most viewed, the number of views, not the name of the team. What do you think my most viewed volleyball video is? As far as the number of views.
Taylor Crabb or something?
No, not the name.
I don't know.
The number. How many views do you think I got for one game? The most views for one game.
Over 10 grand? Over 10,000?
5.7 million.
Wow.
My most viewed video is Fallon for number one.
Oh, Fallon. Yeah.
5.7 million.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
And I didn't monetize a penny of that.
I was just going to ask. Okay.
And we know 5.7 million.
That would be a lot. Yeah.
That's money I can use to pay my podcast.
Sure.
But right now the podcast pays for itself.
For sure.
Like if you look at the views per episode, some of them get shocked because maybe I say COVID didn't come from a bat dog or something, and some of them, maybe you run a small ad or maybe you let it run organically like Dane or like Sharif and it catches a life of its own. But the podcast pays for itself.
That's awesome. And I'm monetized too. I'm nowhere near those numbers, but
will be because
but it's daily and
your persistency, something's going to.
But it's what's cool about this part of this conversation, relating it back to the AVP, is that it's there. Like that system is in place. And again, I want to respect contracts that I'm not aware of. Like I don't work for the AVP. I don't work for Bally's. But as a business owner, I'm aware that there's contracts
and a voice of the people.
Sure. But I'm aware that contract. So this is not a bash and this is not a disrespect on any contract in place. What it is a perspective and opinion specifically for YouTube and the power of YouTube. Man, there's how many YouTubers out there that are crushing it that actually have a smaller audience than AVP, So I look at that and I'm like, dang, if they're crushing it like that, AVP could be crushing it like that.
I think from an integrity perspective, monetization notwithstanding, I think it's really cool for someone to say, hey, I live in Germany. And this is the only way I get to watch this.
Right. That's right. That's a huge part of this global. That the global distribution of YouTube. I mean, YouTube's the number 2 search engine in the world behind Google. Google owns YouTube. Everyone's on YouTube all day long. I feel
Yeah.
like I kind of am too, and it's like almost a no brainer. So that I kind of wanted to just start with that and be like, you know, if AVP is not going to do YouTube stuff because, and they do a little bit, but if they're going to respect their relationship with Bally's, totally fine. I'm not bashing that at all. I'm saying, there's an opportunity for someone like you, to create success
Right.
on YouTube.
I also want to commend the photographers and the guys that have been getting the
100%.
AVP clips out. That might be
Great
the
call.
McKibbins and some people.
Great call.
Um,
Yes.
I've been one of their bigger critics because the timeliness of their content was inconsistent with the momentum of the fans, right?
Yeah.
But
100%.
lately it's just boom, same day, boom.
Yeah.
The events, but between matches or whatever. Big up to those guys. Big up
Yes.
to Eric Cam, who's a one man
Yeah.
team.
Eric.
Who's
Yes.
right. I didn't come here just to worship blue check people, but no, Eric Cam has done the work of 5 people. I think Eric Cam has put pressure on everybody to step up their game.
Okay. So
That guy is like, why is this guy
agreed.
outperforming you? You have an
So
army of people, and this dude is out, and I think fine. You know what? If that's what it takes, boom.
he actually does really good camera work with his little phone. He actually does
Yeah.
good zooming and panning.
Dude's
But here's an idea right here,
ridiculous.
right off the back. Here's an idea. You got Eric Cam, you got you. I don't know. There's probably a couple other people doing their own streams, but there's 2 people that could actually grow the AVP's brand right there in
Right.
front of them. They don't have to go search for them. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, okay, why don't you can have your crew, you can have your like court 1, court 2 thing. That's totally fine. Why not have court 3 and court 4 going? And now you got multiple courts. Now, if you do it like that, that would resemble how the NCAA just did it on ESPN2. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
I did.
That was awesome. That was a great fan experience. I could see all these courts. I could see the scoreboards,
Talking about for beach?
yeah,
Yeah, that was fan.
that was awesome.
That was quite ingenious.
It
on
was
their part.
great. Holly
Yep.
McPeak did a great job.
Yeah, she's one of the best commentators people don't talk about.
Absolutely. But that for me, and Travis Schoonover and I talk about this. Shout out, Trav. What's up, brother?
What up, Trav? Aaron's first main draw was with you, I think.
That's right. That's
Yep.
right. But we talk about it as like that experience draws us in as fans. Like I'm drawn in to, and I'm more invested as a fan when I see all the courts and I have a big picture of what's going on and I know what they're playing for. Again, that's another talking point. We can talk about what these guys are playing for out there. But that to me is a great fan experience. It engages me. I actually want more. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. How do I subscribe? When's the next one? Right?
Yeah.
Like, so
it's also about I guess I'm going to say something self-serving, but I'm only going to say this because I think it's going to help people.
uh-huh.
If you have a pulse on what region is watching the game and where the traffic's coming from, you can play to that. I'll give you an example. The qualifier match.
Sure.
It got 2,000 views because Colorado loves anyone whose last name is Basie.
Yeah, right. Great player.
Lars Basie, his
Great
older brother, played in there, who looks like his younger brother, but he's his older brother, right?
Yeah.
He looks younger. I mean, he's a hell of a math teacher too. 2,000 views, right?
Yeah.
Taylor Crabb has an army of people following him.
Sure.
Like someone's like, "Are you going to go to court 3 and live stream Taylor?" And I'm like, Taylor's fine.
Yeah.
Taylor's going to have people streaming his game
Sure.
all the time. And eventually he found his way to me and wound up on court 2, the match that we called. So if you see regional momentum, you have to have someone on your staff that recognizes that. And as much as I love Casey Patterson and as much as I love Rich Lambourne and as much as I love and respect Josh Glazebrook,
Yeah.
I don't think they're capable of recognizing that. It sounds like I'm calling them like a call out card, but how the hell do I know that? And they don't.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
I'll say it again. This is a qualifier match that by the time I got home had 2,000 views even.
Yeah.
Not 1989, not 2001. A qualifier match.
I don't think it's a question of capability. I don't think that. I think it's a question of awareness, and I think it's also a question of humility when it comes to what could be the
Oh
reach.
dear. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying
You
like,
said the H word.
well, on their part,
Okay.
I'm saying on the AVP's part.
That's what I was afraid of. I mean, I'm the one that needs to be humbled.
So do I. We all do. We all do. I mean, honestly, the sport is small
Right.
comparatively, right? I had a point about that real
Please
quick.
go ahead.
I wanted to say, and anytime you want to interrupt with the chat, we want to hear you guys.
So far, Jeeb's been our lone guy, but he's a one-man army.
That's cool. That's cool. What's up, dude? GoPro. Okay, so I had an idea that.
Oh God, no.
Well, check this out. Just this is just an idea, right? I had an idea that every single court could have 2 to 4 GoPros
Right.
at all times running, right? And so every single play is captured by an angled GoPro. GoPro could actually be a headline sponsor, by the way, because it would be perfect to capture all this stuff on different angles, right? You could have so many cool different angles and stuff like that, and to create that viewer experience, that fan experience.
I do like that too. Let's talk a little bit about things I'd like to see
Yes.
a little bit better.
Sure.
Now, if the league is set on, I mean, if AVP is set on staying with the league,
Yeah.
which will make me very happy. I'm as close to a lone wolf as it's going to get. Maybe there's 2 people that share my sentiment against the 99 people, because
Okay.
pretty much the comments section spoke. And you and a gentleman next to me, well, we had a conversation about double elimination versus single, which
Yep.
maybe we can leave time to explore,
Sure.
or maybe that'll
Sure.
be a future episode, because I know your time is exceptionally valuable and you're
It's all
sparing
good.
this for
I'm
me.
happy to be here.
If they're going to stay with the league, I would like them to go to 10 teams. I think through sponsorship and through franchising, if the cities have interest, right? Because I think that's what their plan is. If the cities have interest, John Stossel in New York, right? New Orleans would they're sponsoring their own women's team. They'll definitely sponsor the teams that they would want to draft. They'll draft Cory in a heartbeat, right? And whoever he wants. So go to 10 teams. Winner and runner up are automatic bids for next year. No wild cards. If you want to call this a meritocracy, let it be a meritocracy, right? Because people were complaining that they didn't have their opportunities. They did. It wasn't a double elimination match. It was a triple elimination match. Okay, they had Huntington Beach 1, Huntington Beach 2, and Huntington Beach 3. They had 3 bites at that apple.
Yeah.
And at the, not the hater in me, but the Bill Parcells realist in me
Yeah.
says either you're good enough or you're not.
Right.
Now, you and I talked about this off camera, so and I'll give you the floor in a minute, but I have to, in good conscience, say this.
Okay.
Separate the Heritage Series from the qualifiers. Have the 3 Huntingtons at that same bat time, same bat channel, same bat location. This way, the people who are trying to make their money, who are already in the league, don't eliminate people who have a chance to be in the league. I do think it's unfair for the team that played in the Olympics, that finished first or second. And if you want to be in the league, you have to beat the champion.
I know.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you see the flaw in their system?
I do.
Look, the
But I also
intention
see it from their side too.
No, but the intention and the genius of meritocracy and putting on your cowboy hat and screaming yippee-ki-yay like Bruce Willis, and either you're good enough or not, is right up my alley. But I did know the Heritage Series would claim victims, but there's some people that had their chance. Dude, you had Quiggle and Rice win the first one, right? That's it. That might have been someone's chance. Quiggle was inactive. She's like, cool, a chance to qualify, I'm in, right? You have Taylor and Billy Allen playing small ball together, which we cheered for, but at the same time was an indictment on being prepared for the unprepared. And I'll land with that.
Those are good points. So I would say this. I get why they created the league, right? And here's why. Number one, it's way less expensive. You just have to create one court.
Yep.
So let's talk about that, right? Just one court. I get that from a business standpoint. I'm going to just make one. I'm not going to make 40, right? The other cool thing about that is that it created a little bit of hype. the fact that you just got excited about qualifying for the league, right? I'm excited as a fan to see who gets in there. And they created that by creating the league. They're saying we're going to create a tight-knit exclusive club and you have to qualify for through certain events. And once you get in there, you're in there. Now, what I'm fine with the wild card, but what I would like to see is a wild card per each event, per each league event.
Right.
So there's a
But you understand if it's 10 teams,
more
you
teams.
can do the wild cards.
You got to be careful
because the
with how-
remaining 8 would be
I get that.
4 winners and 4 wild cards.
Now that's the math adds there, but you got to be careful with adding teams with one court. That's the only other thing. You only have one court
Right.
at these league events. So you got to keep that in mind. And you have 2 genders.
They can play the same. They can play like the NBA. You can have multiple games the same day.
I think so too. But I think what they're trying to create is it seems like so I went to the one at UCLA last year, and it seems like what they're trying to create is
The finals?
No, it was I think it was like the second or third one.
Right. My wife went to the finals. She says it's great.
Awesome. I want it to be great, but I looked around and there weren't very many fans there. Honestly.
No, but it grew as it
went. It grew. But what my point was, what I think they're trying to create is like a Friday Night Lights experience for the fan, right? You go to and you see a game and you know what to expect and you have the time frame and you're not going to be there all day. And you know kind of your time frame expectation as a fan.
Right.
Whereas a tournament, it's a fun experience for the fan because you get to see a bunch of talent parity, but you're there all day. You can't really do anything else with your day. So I think that was part of the reasoning and said, let's make this, what is it? 2 matches or something? Is it
something like that? I think it was
it's
2 matches one day and then 2 matches the next.
Yeah, it's only a few matches. So that's
even if it's 4,
it's not all day. Is
3
my point.
hours. 3 hours of
it's
volleyball.
a few hours, and you can go enjoy it, and then you can go home. So I think that's what
it's good for TV time too.
It's good for TV time, exactly. It's more watchable. But to just go back on my point about qualifying and creating a wild card for each event, that would be cool because I saw some comment on Facebook saying, like, I don't want to watch the same 8 teams play all season long. And I'm like, I agree with that.
We do.
You do?
I want to see all those teams. I want to see the best of the best beat the heck out of each other twice, play each other twice in one season.
I do too. Let me say this. I like that, but I want to see a qualifier team get in there and try. I want to see, I don't want to see it where it's just like, it's set. I want to see it where it's like, you got to keep winning to stay in there. If you lose, maybe your points drop, something like that. Create some incentive, create a ladder. Without the ladder, it's like, okay.
They can see those players all year. It's called the Denver Open, the Manhattan Beach Open. They're going to be multiple money-making opportunities for people in the AVP leagues, right? In those tournament series, as well as FIVB, as well as Motherlode, Seaside. It is a summer full of events.
Can we create AVP league points for all those events so that they're all synergistically aligned to a ladder so that if I play in a CBVA, maybe I have a hope to maybe one day get in the league. That creates excitement for me as a player, right? And then that incentivizes me to go train more.
How about this? How about first and second get a bid and the top 2 in points get bids?
That'd be great.
That'd be 4. That's 4 teams of the new 10-team format.
Well, but
sorry, I'm flying off.
We need a ladder. The point is a ladder in all sports. It's there.
The only thing,
the NBA G League,
but
right?
the players determine that. The players for years have been not so elite. Okay, I have only
seen. In
what
what sense? Athletically or business? Or both?
A little of both. Okay. Only recently, the last 3 years, have I seen the men kind of keep their promises. The women started doing it in 2019. You were there because you were playing and you were coaching.
Yep.
And the women on the college scene, the Norris twins, 18 years old,
yep.
and made the draw. Maple and Kraft were 15 and 17 years old. Chrissy Jones, Muno. Yep. Katie Hogan was young back then. There were a plethora of women that told their predecessors, you either have to train and keep your promises like Betsy, or like the movie 300 where the Spartans pushed the elephants off the cliff, you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the men have not sent that message. Miles Partain, 15 years old, caught up and passed them. Cory
Great
caught up
player.
and passed them.
Two lefties.
I do not want to see an expansion of people who are not keeping their off-season promises. And only recently, you disagree with that because you have recency bias. Because recently, we have to give credit where credit's due.
Maybe.
These cats, their nutrition. Guys, do you guys watch any other sport besides volleyball and their process and preparation and what their bodies look like, what their nutrition looks like, what their training looks like? These guys train for an elite sport. And if you want volleyball to be elite and if you want to grow the game, keep your freaking promises,
100%
which
agree.
by the
I
way,
agree with that.
and I'm not saying they're not, I'm saying this year, they kept their promises, and I don't want the league and them not getting in for them to say, forget this training. No, the training and them keeping their promises is having you and me fight for them.
Yeah.
Because if this were 3 years ago, I'm not fighting for them. I mean, there's, guys walking around puffing out their chest. Oh, I play open. Come on, man. What are you doing? Why are you getting beat by guys aren't even old enough to drink?
No, it's a good point. So I just wrote this concept of backstory down because you're absolutely right about that. And most of this experience, by the way, this AVP experience that we're talking about, it happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning at 8 a.m. in Hermosa. Right? It happens in the gym. It happens in the kitchen. Right? These AVP events are just like a showcase of all the hard work that all athletes do, and they put in it's grueling.
What does your eye test tell you? Have the women kept their promises?
Yeah.
As a coach, people listening, people who have coached a little bit, all the way to open to D1, D3, you've been here long enough. So don't sit here appeal to lived experience and authority, because we get to see it all the time, right? We get to see it every morning, Aaron. But your eye test tells you this. Wow, they're ready. They're here. They're ready.
They're athletes. Their volleyball level has gone up. But my point was going back to like what can we do to help is show that stuff. I didn't see one thing about a player backstory when I was watching.
A lot of them did it themselves. Sean Cook did it every chance he could.
But I'm saying okay, so individual players are doing that on their Instagram. Is that your point?
I think their hand was forced.
What I'm saying is, AVP, go send out a crew, go film some footages of these training sessions for the fans. Don't do it for you. Do it for me. I'm the fan. I want to see that. I want to see how they train. I want to see what kind of band works they're doing. I want to see what kind of nutrition they're doing. I want to see all that stuff. I want to know what kind of sports psychologist they're working with.
You don't want to know what TKN eats.
I want to know the backstory. Engage me.
Them girls get eaten.
Engage me, the fan. Engage me. Don't just think that the volleyball is enough. The volleyball is not enough, is my point.
Wow. Look, hold on. I got a comment.
Yeah.
The guy says, Fonoy would have got you money every time, but BUTT, you have integrity. Meaning I didn't monetize her videos.
Oh, got you.
She's been staving off some people. There are people that are trying to film her on this trend to, monetize her goddessness. And, I think at some point she's like, yo, what do you put the camera down? So, so Fallon, y'all need to stop messing with that girl.
But engagement, like, how about let fans vote for stuff? You tell, like, I tried to say when we were doing our broadcast, like, who's your favorite player? Let us know. Make a poll.
Right.
Create a little Q&A instead of I understand that when you're there, it's kind of fun to do like a fun little game. I don't know, whatever they do in between timeouts. But do that here. Have one person to do that here hey guys, we're giving away a jersey. That's another thing. You want to talk about something I really want to talk about is jerseys. Where are the player jerseys?
The league.
I get that.
The league will do that.
I understand that.
The Nitros jerseys were selling, man. The Taylors had appeal.
Okay, fine. So we're gonna talk about that. So the league jerseys, can I get a last name on them, please? Go ahead.
That's it.
Well, no, I was saying,
can I
get a last name and can I get their sponsors. Like,
The grunts in the house. Sorry. Mhm.
yeah, I'm saying like that to me is the number one thing over engagement. The number one thing is to have jerseys with player names that the players can do a rev share with. Then on top of that, I would love to see the legends have their own jerseys that the AVP and the legends can have a rev share with. That would re-engage the legends, a Randy Stoklos, a St. John Smith, a Karch, a Kent, an Adam Johnson.
I would buy a Stokely.
I would too. I
I
would
would
buy
too,
everyone I
dude.
just said I would buy
I
because I
don't know
have
about all
so
that, but I would.
I would.
Yeah.
I totally would.
Mhm.
You know, and that would re-engage those legends because I think most of those legends that I just mentioned are probably overcritical of the AVP, and they probably just don't want to have anything to do with it anymore because they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And me, I'm paraphrasing, and that's my opinion, and I have no idea. Maybe I'm wrong. I can totally be wrong on that. I just want to re-engage them because that's what they do in the NBA. The NBA, those legends, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are there. They want to see what's going on. They want to be involved still. They don't want to be forgotten, so to speak. And the AVP has a great opportunity. I think they tried to do that. They had a couple legends matches in between timeouts a couple years ago. That's cool. But I'm talking about a jersey that I can go home with, right? Like I can take something I can put something in my hand and I can leave the tournament and I can go home with it like a hat, you know?
Hold on. My man T20 Grunt says, I want a Karai net ripper jersey. Oh, did he watch the last episode? I showed the video
Oh, that's cool.
of
That's
car
cool.
tripping down the.
That's cool.
Is this weird? I want to do that again. I want you to finish your point while I'm looking for
Well,
this video.
my point was just about jerseys. And then, I had texted you, remember, about the antagonist?
Yes.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Hold on. Hold that thought.
Let's talk about that
Let's go to
next
camera two.
because
Play is over. 6-6. Championship point number 5 for Smith Stoklos.
I got to do this again.
And that's it. And so Smith and Stoklos
Boom.
and Crabb
Not just the net, because the net was attached to the system.
right.
The referee's chair, so all
Right.
of it went down.
It could have been bad, actually. Could have caused an injury. But I love to see the passion, right? Like,
So
love to see that.
I think what happened before that was the play that made him lose his mind. There was
touch call, no call.
right,
Yeah.
touch call, no call on
Yeah.
like the block.
Yeah.
Block.
Yeah.
For my indoor people following us, block counts as a hit,
as a touch.
an
Yeah.
outdoor, and there was
That's
a
right.
dispute about the touch, no touch, the previous play.
Right. He was
I
pissed.
guess Karch and them,
Yep.
they couldn't let it go, and the next play got that,
Yep.
maybe they got.
There's
that.
another idea. Mic up the refs more. We have no idea when there's controversy out there.
Mhm.
We're just watching and saying, "Oh, remember we were talking about the open hand tip,
Right.
and that there was a no call." And I just wanted to hear the back and forth. I want antagonistic energy out there more. So I showed for the audience. I showed Jason the AVP's Instagram account, and if you click on the Reels part of it, you'll see that their second video has 40 million views. And it's a video of Trevor Crabb crossing the net and pushing Chase down to the floor.
Good. Yeah, they couldn't have Fallon's as the most viewed forever, right?
But so what that means, that's the highest, that's the most viewed video.
40 million, huh?
40 million views for that one little reel, which is
Okay.
it's a non-volleyball.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with volleyball, really. It's
That's wild.
two dudes being pissed at each other. I'm sorry, I think it was Chase pushing Trevor. I think that's what it was, right? Yeah, it was Chase pushing Trevor in that moment, and it was like this moment. Can you play that somehow?
Where is it? The AVP one?
It's AVP.
Just their site and like their first video.
Well, here I can pull it up here if you can.
What's it called?
Well, it's on their AVP Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
Yeah, it's Instagram.
Oh, it's the Instagram that got the 40 million views. Not the YouTube
40 million views on a
Okay.
reel. It's not even a volleyball play.
All right, let's see.
You know what I mean? I got it right here.
Oh, I see it. Let me see if I can pull it up on my Instagram.
Yeah, pull that up.
It's their AVP, their handle.
Yeah, AVP Beach.
Okay, let's do
And
it.
you got to click on Reels, so you click on that little.
Yeah,
button
okay.
right there.
But it should be the first one. Right?
40 million. It's the second one.
AVP.
And that should just show everyone that we, as the audience, like antagonists. We need that. It's part of the storytelling,
So going to reels.
right? There's got to be a bad guy,
I
right?
guess, yeah.
Well, there has to be. I mean,
Well, here we go.
for pretty much all sports. There you go.
You know, in Motherlode, Motherlode, they reenacted the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Sam Schachter,
Uh-huh.
Gage Basie. So, and I didn't know what happened because when you're in Aspen, you
Yeah.
don't. You're in La La Land. It's
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful in the fall, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what happened until I looked at my phone, and everyone was like, "Oh, did you hear what happened in Chicago?" And Schachter, Basie, and like a bunch of people just pushed, and like Schachter played Theo because he had like the look and just like, what the hell's going on?
That's funny.
It was pretty fun.
But let me clarify something. I'm not saying we should go around pushing each other.
No,
That's not my point. My point is that those guys don't like each other.
he said Mike the Net. Sorry, go ahead.
Those guys didn't like each other in that moment. The funny part about that was that it was a side switch. Did the AC just kick on? That's nice.
Yeah. I'm the only one that doesn't sweat in this.
I'm
joint.
like
Look at me.
here.
I'm not like.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But my point is, AVP, help create a more antagonistic energy.
What?
I'm not saying fist fight. I'm not saying pushing, but like it would be great if people like competed more and got like, even in tennis, right? Even in tennis, you actually do have that dynamic of yelling at the ref. If like McEnroe, right? I know he's old school, but even Kyrgios, you know, that's fun and exciting for the fan. And I'm just talking about the fan, not even a coach perspective or a player perspective. Actually, the fan perspective, I would like to see more antagonistic energy. I don't want to see all the opponents high-fiving all the time under the net crossing. I don't like, just as a fan. Players, I get that. We do that. It's kind of a thing. But like as a fan, I'm like, what are you guys doing? You know, as a fan, I want to see conflict. I want to see who wins and who loses. That's what I want to see as a fan.
I'll take it from here.
Go ahead.
Since we're talking about drama,
Yeah.
you have to punt to the expert.
Go ahead.
Because
Yeah.
we breached the subject of expertise. My degree is in theater performance from Marymount Manhattan College.
Right.
All right. The theater definition of drama is the recreation of conflicts between individuals put in front of an audience as if it's happening right now.
There you go.
And I think when you have the conflicting forces, there's energy and it's interesting and it's real. Now, I want to get to the real part. It can't be manufactured because the audience isn't stupid.
I get it.
Right?
I get that.
Sean Cook,
and I agree.
I thought a lot of that was manufactured, and either he faked it till he made it, or it was real the whole time and I missed it. You know, because and of course I'm gonna, since it's a glass half full podcast, I'm gonna suggest the latter. Right?
Okay. I'm just
Trevor,
thinking about that right
like
now.
Trevor, that's not coming from an inauthentic place. He sucks it up. It's not manufactured.
This point is well taken. I see what you're saying.
I've been doing this as a. I mean, we can look at this. Forget acting. I just like using acting as an example from a coach's perspective and body language, and all of the personalities that you've seen. Both of us have seen, but you more so than me on the beach, right?
Okay.
You know it when you see it, and you know it's real. And then some people you just like, yeah, that wasn't. That wasn't really you. So
that's a good point.
If it happens on its own, that's
be
cool.
Authentic.
Because the mixture, you go back to tennis, right? Federer is still always going to move the needle more than Kyrgios, and Federer doesn't say 3 words.
Can I push back a little bit on this?
Sure.
Okay. The pushback would be, unfortunately, about our sport, everyone just knows everyone. And the team switch almost every weekend if you're not in the league. So you kind of have to be like cool with everyone because you might be playing with your opponent, you know, the next weekend. So there's that dynamic. So that's why it's the only reason. If I was in charge, if I was the tournament director, before everyone play, I'd be like, bring it in, everybody, turn the cameras off. I want to talk to you guys for a second. Get pissed at each other. Totally fine with that. You know, like get in each other's face. Make this more exciting because the volleyball is great, but it's not enough.
Well, I also want to reiterate that the hostility is there. What I want them to do is stop faking being nice,
I don't
right?
I don't
Now,
agree.
no, look,
I
look.
don't think so. Where is it?
If
Where's the
I,
hostility? Tell
and
me.
that's the problem.
Yeah, where
The
is it?
hostility's hidden.
Yeah.
They're
Because I
shaking
don't like
hands.
I know.
I'm telling you, half of these men's team don't even want to shake hands. It's
Right.
just a courtesy thing.
You
And
mean across under the
the
net? You
ones
mean
that walk around the pole,
yeah.
those are the ones that are the personalities you're looking for, because they're basically hinting, I'm not here to shake your hand.
Right.
The ones that literally go around the court,
Right. Right.
and where some people switch sides and shake hands, those are the personalities. I mean, they got to win too, right? I mean, you can't you can't be a prima donna and lose. The reason why they're called prima donnas is because they win and you have to deal with them, right? Because if they lost, you wouldn't call them anything. They're just
Yeah.
losers. You don't see
Yeah.
them. So Sean Cook's good for the leagues because he's winning. Sean Cook, he's the one I would have felt the worst for, because he finished second in both of those tournaments. And, he had a
Yeah.
bad first round or whatever against Theo, but I told my wife something, and I didn't mean to say this on the air, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
I said, you know what I'm thinking as far as who made it or not? And she's like, I know what you're thinking, because my wife knows me like the back of her hand. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. She says, you're happy that Theo, that you like, didn't make it, but you're also happy that Sean Cook, that you don't particularly like, did make it.
Yeah.
Because she knows that I respect hard work. She knows
Yeah.
that I respect meritocracy. And this wasn't casting aspersions on Theo as much as it was casting aspersions on the combination of him and Troy Field. I did not like that team. I did not see the urgency of wanting to get into the league as much as I saw Sean Cook. And again, I don't hate Sean Cook. It's just that I don't F with him, then he don't F with me, and we good. But when I found out he made it, I was like, wow, thank God. Cool.
So Troy Field, I was really looking forward to watching him in the league
Because he's good for the league too. He's
great
a
for the league.
personality.
He's great for the league.
But what does he want? Did he want to be in the league?
Well,
What did your eye test tell you?
he belonged there.
Okay. All right.
I think I mean
Okay.
not on the team. I agree with you. I didn't think that was the right team.
Right.
There's not a pure defender on that team. Although I'm very impressed with your defense, Troy. Great playing, dude.
The dude just stretches out arms and touches everything.
No, you've evolved into an awesome, well-rounded, all-around player, and you're super fun to watch. And that's why I wanted to continue to watch you in the league, but also because of your audience play. The way he was able to engage the audience, look at the audience, like that's it's magnetic.
Right.
Right. And so yeah.
When the only regret is I wish I had someone teching the show, because we could have done StreamYard, and the comments pop up, right?
Cool.
And this is also super chat supported, so when I do events, people are gonna throw me some cheddar cheese and we highlight their comments. But T20 Grunt says when Casey Patterson left, we lost a solid competitive Esh talker.
Exactly.
Trevor is a good villain and Cook is a great anti-hero. I actually like that.
It's well said.
And you agree with CPAT. Cook is solid. I always love to root for him. The dude can crush it. Jiba, didn't want to miss your comment. I have an Adrian Carambula jersey. Let's go. Come on. Appreciating all creative solutions. Also, guys, let's thank Aaron Wexler for keeping me on point. Because what he does is he gets me emotional when I was trying to be a little bit more colder about this. And when I feel like I'm steering us off the cliff, he's like, nah, but hey, we got a good point here, right? And he keeps me in. And you know what's great, though? That only happens on a podcast. When we're broadcasting, it's smooth like butter.
It was great.
No parquet.
I know.
No margarine. Strictly butter, baby.
I want to do it again. It was super fun.
Well, say my name. We good. Maybe come to Motherlode, dude. I mean, me and Randy had a good time. I know you and me could.
I might actually be playing in Seaside.
And the technology's better.
I might come out of the retirement.
I'm gonna be on the stage. I'm emceeing.
That's really cool.
I got made a proposal and they matched my offer, and my wife's like, don't be so good at something where you doing all this for free, and that's it.
So going back to the jersey stuff and the player branded gear, right? Jerseys, signature apparel. I think the Crabbs might have some of that. Taylor, and don't they have like a Crabb?
Taylor.
Don't they have like a Crabb, like a little logo thing?
Yeah.
Like that's cool. I think that's
Trevor, Taylor, I know Trevor listens sometimes. Taylor doesn't. But Trevor, if you hear this, man, I'll pay for them shorts. Give me
No,
if you have them.
I think they're cool.
I really, really like them shorts. I don't like putting nobody's name on my behind, but I would definitely rock those.
But here's a good example of that could be a great rev share thing for the AVP. They could take a cut, but I don't know where to get those. And I looked in the AVP tent, and there was like Wilson only. And shout out Wilson. Thank you, Wilson, for being a part of this awesome beach volleyball and indoor just sporting experience. We appreciate the partnership with Wilson. Not Jason and I, but I'm saying we as the community of beach volleyball. If you want to sponsor,
you gotta fix your mic.
If you want to,
I just line it up behind the pop filter. You'll be okay.
If you want to sponsor this show, reach out to Jason.
No, you can move the mic. Yeah, there you go. That's easier for you.
Trying to pitch you a little sponsor here.
Go ahead,
Wilson,
do it again.
If you want to reach out to Jason here, I'm sure he's open to being sponsored. So hit him up.
Yeah, the only maybe I'm always open to talk.
Yeah,
and the reason I have some silent partner sponsors, but cool. I think because this podcast is not just volleyball.
Yeah.
I can't be beholden to. I can't be beholden to what I can say and what I can't.
It could be episodic. It could be a episode sponsored by such and such.
Hold on one second. Jason Olive is saying, "Talk to me." Jason Olive wants me.
Shout out Jo.
Jo wants me to go to Hawaii and call Center Court for the 18 and under Worlds.
Let's go. Indoor. That's awesome.
Well, let's call him. Let's see what he has to say.
You're gonna call him right now, live? Let's go, Jo. Much respect. And if you're still listening on the YouTube, keep those comments coming.
Talk to me, Goose.
Yo, I'm actually in a live stream. I'm on the Option Podcast with Aaron Wexler.
What's up, Jo?
You're live right now, dude. I'm look, my thumbs are too big to text you back, so I was just calling you to say I'm definitely in, and we'll work out the particulars of course off the live stream. But I wanted to show some love for the program, from one program directed to another, right? Aaron Wexler, West Coast Beach, Jo, Los Angeles Volleyball Club.
Much respect, Jo.
Yo, what's happening, dude?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
I guess you guys aren't exactly running and jumping in the water after practice these days.
Yeah, right.
This podcast is hot enough. It's boiling in this room. Aaron might just run there.
Now we're watching that water quality, man. It's tough right now, and it's really sad for all the wildlife. I'm sure you're aware of all of this wildlife, man. It's really tough. So shout out to Heal the Bay. You know, shout out to anyone.
I got a volleyball question for you, Aaron.
Okay.
So I had my own personal conspiracy theory that the reason they didn't host the Olympics there in Santa Monica was because of the contamination of the water and the sand. What are your thoughts on that? Or did you hear anything as to why it moved down to Long Beach? Because that was a beautiful plan they had there for a long time. It's
a good question and a good point. I think it may have had something to do with it. I think part of it was the infrastructure is not quite set up there for a mass volume of people. I think that's a big part of it. And when I say infrastructure, I'm talking not just streets and plumbing, but I'm also talking, first responders.
Oh, wow.
That to have the whole world converge on that spot in Santa Monica for 2 weeks is a big ask. And I think the other part of it was monetary, something to do with they didn't want to spend the money and they couldn't see the bigger picture for the ROI on that. So I think that was the main thing, but it probably was a combo of all those.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting.
I thought Huntington would have been good. I mean, you leave Santa Monica and Long Beach is your choice, really? I mean,
if you think about it from
they're gonna have to buy a boatload of sand for Long Beach. We cannot have people playing on that sand.
But that's
a California beach.
Okay, but I hear that point. But that's an easier ask than completely redoing infrastructures. The infrastructure is set up.
True.
For all the numbers. So when you talk about Olympics, you're talking numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, true. I agree. I love it I love Long Beach as a location for every reason except the
sand. Yeah, I agree with you. But this is a half glass full time in our day right now. So we're going to talk about what could be done. They could actually put a top layer of fresh sand on all that in my opinion. Yeah.
Easily.
They should.
Easily done.
Yeah.
Easily done. Well, you remember a lot of, because of, we are of a certain age now, a lot of people don't know about it, don't remember when the Leonard Armato ran the World Open there. What was that called? It was
Yeah,
like
World Series beach volleyball. Yep, I was there for that.
World Series, was that what it was? The World
Yep.
Series beach volleyball.
Yep.
I mean,
Yo,
that was a tremendous event,
dude. We got your headshot live right now.
Since you're live on the podcast, I put your headshot on a split screen.
Hey, you should. Can we?
And the sixth man was down there. The sixth man was down there that year when. So just a little history for the younger folks and out of towners. The sixth man had reached about 60,000-70,000 people, and to the point of infrastructure, Manhattan Beach said, "Hell no, we can't handle it. It's too dangerous. It's unmitigated frolic. So you're done." And so what happened was they moved the sixth man to Long Beach to keep it on the weekend, so that happened down there in Long Beach too. That was a wild weekend of kitty litter down there.
Hey, Jo, while we have you here, I would like to throw a question to you if you have a minute.
Yeah.
He's just gonna hang up.
Yeah.
AVP success. What does the AVP need to do to create more success?
Oh no, don't that. You're gonna ask
just
that.
Just a quick little response.
They need to do the exact same thing every other pro sport that has been successful learned to do, which is essentially what we would call today, you have to have a reality show. It was NFL films or NBA films or all that. So no one actually cares about the sport, right? No one cares let's put it this way. No one cares that a football game is won, right? That's why there's no one in the stands for a bad high school football game, right? So then you say like, okay, well, why do they care? Well, because they care that so-and-so wins. They care that Eli Manning wins, or they care that give me some other example. They care that they want to see Tom Brady lose. They want to see give me some younger players. I don't watch sports anymore, but
Mahomes, like Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes. They want to see Mahomes win or Mahomes lose. They want to see his girlfriend or his wife win or lose, right? They want to see Shaq win. They
want to see Taylor Swift cry.
They want to see Jordan lose. Yeah, exactly. So, what all these sports did was they developed these pretty robust storytelling entities, right? Which was film back in the day. But if we bring it to modern times, the clearest story and example of this being true was the UFC. When you look at what the UFC was looking at, and then Dana White goes, "Oh my God, no one cares about my fighters." Okay, so we launched the
Ultimate Fighter.
They launched the Ultimate Fighter, and sometimes when you put electricity and water close enough together, you get a lightning strike, which was that fight with Griffin, right? I mean,
and Stefan Bonner.
Yeah, if you don't take the steps to build that fight never happens, right? But you took the steps, you gambled, you were good to people who were good to you in the past. Jason has that great story about that, and then lightning strikes, right? Well, part of the reason it struck too was that people knew these people.
Yeah.
Right. So when you talk about volleyball athletes, no one knows who they are unless you follow them really carefully.
Right.
And so what the sport needs is it needs to launch some kind of storytelling vehicle, reality show, something
where
like
they
that.
can care about the characters.
For example, here's the other example. If you look at Drive to Survive, and if you look at the amount of money that it's estimated the TV show Drive to Survive has brought to already one of the richest sports on earth, maybe the richest sport on earth in Formula One racing, then again, it just tells the same story.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter if you're a sport that's failing like UFC or you're the richest sport in the world in Formula One. Once people start being concerned about who's winning, then you have something. And so at the end of the day, what do you need? You need more creativity in the C-suite. You need guys that understand creativity in that part. And I think there was a time where we had a chance. I think when Hodel was there was a chance for that because he was such an extraordinary leader, just extraordinary.
Okay.
But that got sold out. So
I got a question before you go. And I'm so glad you asked. I'm like, are you sure you want an answer from Jason? Because he's going to give it to you real.
Yeah, for sure.
Does this development also allow to feature junior talent and show future stars in like short content form and stuff like that? I myself, I think the whole nature of your text, in fact, was for us to showcase the 18 and under world. So you're in the middle of
100%.
you're in the middle of practicing what you preach. So I guess my question to you is, do you foresee something in the beach happening like that?
Listen, the winners of our 18s at Island Fest, they're gonna you guys are first. They're gonna get on a trolley and be in the Pan Pacific parade.
Nice.
they're literally gonna be in a parade on Sunday. That'll be one of the first times ever. I was telling someone, I think UCLA, or you would know, Aaron, has won what? Counting the other night, what, 22 national championships? Are you guys up to?
It's 21, I think.
21? Is it 21? Is it 21, 22?
Yeah.
And
just lost in the finals last night.
I said I lived in LA all my born and raised LA. I've never seen a Bruin on a trolley. I've never seen a parade ever. Hawaii wins. There's as a matter of fact, I was talking to Kai Kahele, who was senator at that time, and I sent him a text. I said, brother, water cannons. He sent a text back. He said, absolutely, because Kai and I played. We were on the same teams in Hawaii, and he was senator. When Hawaii got back, if you could Google this, when Hawaii got back from winning their first championship, they arrived and there was water cannons over the planes. Right? Okay.
For a championship that got vacated.
And no. I'm talking about not that one.
Okay. I'm playing.
The more recent one, like 2020 or 21.
Yeah.
The first one before the
killer team.
Before the 2-peat, Jay. Before the 2-peat.
Hey.
So and then they you do the parade and stuff, and that's a culture that loves volleyball. I mean, if you're gonna play soccer, you go to Rio de Janeiro or you go to Madrid. You want to play volleyball, you go to Honolulu, right? These are people that it's a religion, and so I think taking some aspects of the love of the game from other cultures that really do it right and incorporating those into youth game is really important. We actually filed what do you call it? A writers just filed with the Writers Guild on a show called The Bid.
Cool.
Which is The Bid, which is following club teams, chasing the bid and that whole thing, which is not unlike what gymnastics did with I guess more. Sorry, not gymnastics.
See you, Jiba. I see you, Ruth Nelson.
Cheer was fantastic. Cheer was really well done. I was shocked I thought it was going to be one thing. It was a totally different thing. Cheer was fantastic. That was great. And Formula One, Drive to Survive is fantastic. And, our community is just super underserved with these kind of vehicles. So, you got to build it yourself.
Yep. All right. So listen, Jay, we're going to finish this live podcast because this guy actually has practice after this. But I mean, I think I speak for both of us when I say I'm glad we asked, man. You got John Moran worthy ideas and our comment section's lighting up. A whole bunch of people might have questions. Yeah. Actually, if you go on YouTube, we're live now and there's a whole bunch of comment sections that are cross-examining this. Cool, man. Hey, mad love, kiddo. And let's talk later about what you need from me and what I need from you to make Hawaii June 10th happen, okay?
We'll see you, brother. Thank you. Love you guys. Good
later, J.O.
All right, peace. Sorry, we were working on a contract. There's indoor. There's called the 18 and under worlds.
I love it.
So he's got, teams in Japan, Thailand, and America, whatever. And he's able to get away with it. It's considered a festival. There you go. That's our live.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, sorry, here.
That's me. I just joined the chat.
Yeah, just turn the volume down and you could read some of this.
Hey, Ruth Nelson.
Yeah, she's a legend. Hall of Famer.
Hello.
The winningest NCAA coach, University of Houston.
T20's grunt. NCAA women have been killing it the past few years, and they have a great product with a lot of TV options. Big Ten is on Volleyball World. Yeah, for sure. Sorry, Jason. I just
keep going.
Jumped in the chat here,
just like we did at the at the beach.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we get Jiba, because Jiba said he had to leave. He says, "I wish you guys all the best in life. I'm actually
likewise.
completely done with volleyball, but I have all the empathy for the players and can't stand blah blah blah."
Well,
hold on. go to a rec league, and I'll bet you 9 out of 10 can't name 2 current beach players. Getting to know the players would be nice,
Yeah.
but need more eyes on the product first, right?
Yep.
Well, for me, and Grunt, I agree with you. But in the beginning of this podcast, we had to make sure when we had eyes on these people that the product was dope, right?
I
And
think the product's dope.
the women, it is now.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. There was a transition that a lot of people are not believers now because they were prisoners of the moment on 3 or 4, 5 years ago when the guys weren't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, some of those guys are doing videos of themselves working out, which meant they weren't working out. So go ahead.
Sorry, I have 2 points, and I want to write one down so I don't forget.
I'm glad you write them down.
Let me start with this one. Okay. What are they playing for? What are they playing for out there? So I'm aware that the league was what they were playing for, a spot in the league. But going back to storytelling, what does that mean? Tell me what that means. Tell me the fan. What does that mean? What is the league? How does it work? And you know what? As the AVP, you're going to constantly probably have to tell that story, right? And it's going to be redundant for you, but you're introducing a new thing. So just get ready for that ride, and you have to educate us, your fan base. So, but let me know what they're playing for, because without that, and this is no offense to the players, what I'm about to say as a ex-player, it looks like pepper over the net sometimes. High level pepper, pepper with kills, but I just don't know what it's for. Every other sport, there's a clear championship that you're playing for. Even for the league, like, I don't know if there's a championship for the league. I assume there will be, like there was last year, but it's so quiet that I'm not sure what it is. If it was spelled out and it's like, this is what you're gonna win. Here's the prize money. Even if the prize money is not big right now, that's okay. Just let us know. Let me know.
They are.
Don't be so secretive.
Right. Listen, the AVP is actually the highest compliment is when it comes to the conclusion of these stories.
Yeah.
They really sell out. I mean, AVP Manhattan Beach Sunday is always going to be sold out.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
This league, by the way, was sold out and it was massively packed. Their finals, right?
Yeah.
And the question
Awesome.
isn't what their end game is. The question is, where do you start? How do you get there? And just like film, there's a climatic series that leads to this end, right?
Right.
And then when the end's done, what's the next episode going to look like,
That's
right?
That's
What's Monday morning going to look like?
That's right.
Because I said it before, Manhattan Beach looks like the tournament that saves volleyball until Monday, right?
Yeah.
So their challenge, I would suggest to them, is to present the scenario, which is the league, to present sustainment and engagement, which involves good commentary, and good characters, like Cook, and also introverts like Phil, because Phil lets his play do the talking, and he's always going to be fun to watch, even now, right? I mean, the guy played with John Sutton for a whole year, for Christ's sake, and people still came to watch him, right?
Yep.
And also, it's a conflicting forces of doing a better job of taking care of your stars versus meritocracy, right?
Yeah.
Like, would I like to see Alvaro and Alisson, 2 Olympians and an Olympic gold medalist there? Yeah. But if they didn't earn it, they can't, right?
Yeah.
So the AVP, and I saw similar treatment with Ricardo and as well as the Brazilians, who, by the way, their last big tournament was Chicago, that they made from the qualifier to the finals, subsequently losing to April Ross and Alex Kleiman, right? So I like it because they're right. Aaron, the reason why we're here is because the players and the AVP, as far as their commitment and their promises, they're right there.
They're right there.
And we just want to,
that's all.
And we're not pretending we have all the answers. We're just,
no.
We're just hoping that now that everybody's on the same sheet.
Yeah.
And of course, it's business. There's going to be victims, right?
Yeah.
There's an old saying, it's never personal till it happens to you, right?
right.
I turned into an Evan Cory fan. Him not being in the league, that's personal to me because I thought he was good for the league, right? Sean getting into the league, I'm again, not a whole lot of personal affections for him, but I'm glad he's in the league. So I know they're gonna be victims of this, but don't, man, the idea is there and the players are there. Let's make it happen.
Totally. And there's some heartbreaking situations too, like Savvy Simo and you mentioned Evan Cory, but I'll mention Triborn, and I'm fans of them. I'm heartbroken for them, you know.
You
But
can't be losing the Wilcox though.
but that goes to a bigger point, which is what Jo said, which is make me care. Make me, and when I keep saying that, I mean me, the audience, the fan, the person that just wants to be there and just wants to celebrate everybody. Make me care. And that's what I meant by like a trophy. Like when I saw the little skateboard trophy, I'm like, that's not enough. And that's not a criticism of you guys, AVP. I'm just saying, like, I'm
That was
just,
kind of cool, huh?
it's kind of cool, but like make it cooler, like make it bigger, make it more of a thing. It looks like it's like you could go buy that at that little souvenir shop, to be honest. And I'm not criticizing because I'm a fan and I want this to do well. I'm saying put more effort and time and thought into that because it shows the kids. Like I run a youth organization. I want our youth players to be like, that's cool, man. I want to be the next Nuss. I want to be the next Tristan Nuss. I want to get that trophy. Just like Randy Stoklos said, he saw this awesome big trophy that Mark Barber won, and he wanted that. And that created care. And I'm passionate about this. I really am because I care. I care because I've kind of made this sport my life, you know,
Yeah.
and I care. And it would help to see
Yeah.
like it would help to see a thriving pro tour to create a picture of a clear ladder down to the NCAA, down to the high school where I coach currently, down into the juniors program. And there's a ladder. And then now the athlete says, man, here's my spot on the ladder. That's where I could get to. We didn't even mention Olympics. That would be above the AVP, but it would be so cool to see a clear ladder like that. The AVP has an opportunity to create that ladder. Only they can. We actually can't do it the other way. It doesn't really work because if the AVP changes their rules or last minute, it messes up the ladder. But if they create that ladder, and another idea is make some partnerships, create club partnerships with your target audience. You have your players, you have your future players, talk to them and create partnerships with us, the club owners, to create incentive so that we can send our players to your events. Whew.
That says a lot. T20 actually said let the top 2 international teams play, and imagine Norway and Sweden playing, and Duda play. I actually, of course, my knee jerk reaction is like great idea, but really not so much because I can't look. The men's division we need to fix our stuff first.
Yeah.
Because we both know there's no way Norway and Sweden would have let Taylor Crabb and Billy Allen get away with what happened that weekend. The old and the new and the young Casey Patterson wouldn't have allowed them to get away with that.
They played great.
They played Qatar wouldn't allow them to get away with that. All 3 teams from Italy wouldn't allow that to happen. Right. So I'm not even talking about like that's outside of the top 15, like the Austrians who have a good team or whatever. Yeah. So, but I want the men to know that they did a good job keeping their promises. They got a little bit to go. What Jason was talking about with the UFC, just briefing everybody.
I didn't mean to...
Dana White bought the UFC and they were in the red. They were $40 million in the red.
Right.
And he took a chance and he made a show called The Ultimate Fighter, where everybody was in the house and all they did was train. There was no phones. No. And when you have a whole bunch of alpha males with no phones, no TV, no cable, just training, of course, there's going to be cameras in the house and there's going to be some drama. Sure. So you had the reality TV drama and people started caring about the characters. And by the time the finals happened, it was on Spike TV. And everyone was calling each other like, these 2 white guys are like punching each other in the face, and their audience grew in a 2-hour time span from the beginning of the event to the end. And not to mention the dramatic conclusion. Forrest Griffin won, but it was such a close fight. Dana White talked to Sean Shelby and some of the people and gave both fighters the contract. And there was this moment where both fighters were crying and you cared about the characters. And that was the show is not doing that well, but there's a loyalty to that.
Well, it created care, like you're talking about. It created care from the fan because I'm invested. I just saw a backstory. Right. I'm invested.
But that's where the villain perspective comes in because you care enough to dislike them.
That's true.
You very much like Conor McGregor, right? There are people that paid a lot of money to say, I want to see this. This is the guy that's going to humble this dude. Yeah. And this is the guy that's going to knock that guy on his butt. So I think the AVP doesn't necessarily need villains. They have villains. And what I don't want them to do is manufacture villains.
Right.
And
I like
for
that
those
point.
of you guys
Good
that are
point.
just being polite for its own sake, if you don't, I recognize fake polite too, dude. And I know California, that's the right thing to do. You just, polite goes a long way. But if you're not the team that wants to shake hands from switching sides, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't manufacture it. So, let's see. We got another. People watch because they didn't have to pay $50 for a fight. Sorry, just trying to read closely.
Yeah.
The really people would go to a bar and some random buddy's house to watch a fight. And I think, T20, I think they would go to a random person's house to watch volleyball. How many NCAA parties did they have for the women's Final Four and finals? A lot of people. New York, their bars reserve basement parties in the bars just for that, I had one at the house, for the men. So,
Look at Ruth's last comment. That's a good one.
Ruth Nelson.
Yeah.
What did the legend say? Okay, on roll, my friend's history. Does V-ball need a Caitlin Clark? And a what? And a Barbie April?
Well,
Oh,
the thing with Caitlin Clark is she's a generational player and a complete game changer, right? She changed the game.
right. And did she have to play the protagonist or antagonist?
No, she
did
was
not.
just herself. And does every sport need someone like that? Probably. Does volleyball need that? Probably, I'd say. But those are, Ruth, we hear you on that, but those are things outside of our control. Pretty much all this
Ruth
stuff
is also
but,
Flo Hyman's coach.
No,
so,
I know.
You're talking about someone that
we're aware.
the world needle.
We're aware of that, but I'm saying, like, yes, the answer to the question is yes. The volleyball definitely needs that, but every sport needs that. Every sport needs that. Does beach volleyball need that more than ever? The answer is yes. That would be awesome. We just can't, like, to your point, we can't manufacture that. That has to kind of come organically.
Right. And again, AVP, I really, really love that you're taking a chance, and it takes testicular fortitude. And if you're in this situation where the Chewbacca's are gonna, or anyway, you have to do Han solo. You have to do the Han solo. And you're making this decision. And I respect the fact that you're not at the poker table bleeding your chips until you're out of money. This year, I see you're putting all your chips forward. And I respect that. And I like that. And again, you can listen to this podcast and you could take some of this or leave it, because again, that's not my wheelhouse. And Aaron, I speak for Aaron. We're not going to have the answers, but it is my function to shape the question. And it is his function to shape the question where you, me, the audience, and the AVP can find ways to answer these questions together.
100%.
But I really, really love what you become. When I moved here in 2016, my wife said she liked going to the games because no one was there. That's what you were.
Right.
And now you got these kids coming up. Started with the women. Partain kept his promises. Angie Benesh went from this middle blocker, Trojan, to this passing machine, and yeah, look what you become. And again, I'm not a big fan of wild cards, but I did write about Phil, and that's cool, because very much like Kobe Bryant and Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera, like when they announced they're going to retire, the farewell tour and the last chance to see these people is equivalent to what I think you guys tried to do with April and Alex. And I don't know if the numbers reflected that, but I'm optimistic, if not hopeful, the numbers will reflect for Phil.
Yeah. Ruth just made a great comment about, do you think that the media can create that player? And I do agree.
Jackie Silva. Sorry.
Yeah, Jackie Silva too. But in terms of the media creating that player, well, no one creates a player. The player creates the player. The coach helps. The media helps, but the player creates the player. But the media shapes the perception of the player. And so your point is well taken, Ruth, in that the media shaped the perception of Caitlin Clark in a great way. It elevated the entire sport. it created entirely new fan base. And could the AVP do that here? Yeah, they totally could. They could take, you know me, I'm a Taylor Crabb fan, right? I think he's the best domestic player. They could take a guy like that and really show. You know what's cool about him too is actively coaching, right? At St. Mary's. That's a cool storyline. Same with Billy Allen, by the way. He was assistant coaching at Stanford, and they played together. And
I saw that coming more than I saw Taylor Crabb coming, but glad he's out there doing his thing. Like Billy Allen, I was less surprised because he's always been kind of like, if you ever talked to him.
I was too, by the way.
And the Coach Your Brains podcast is really, really a foreshadowing of what was to come as far as what he wanted to do in his next evolution.
Totally. But to Ruth's point, the media should absolutely shape storylines about all these players and help create these perceptions.
Yeah. And again, if who they choose for their media is able to do that, you got to let them do that, right? Again, I think Eric Kam has done a better job than armies of people.
For sure.
And again, this is not casting aspersions on other people's failures, just demonstrating what one man can do with will and wit.
Yep. Agree.
Because I'm not going to talk about what his occupation is outside of this, but it requires a heightened level of intelligence.
I enjoy watching his feed,
and he is, he's fantastic.
Can I address this other comment right here? T20s?
No, you got him because you have better eyesight than me.
Well, T20 Grant says, I still think the fun, competitive, edgy party vibe did the most for the sport. So that vibe is the one that I grew up in, Miller time.
Right.
It was Miller Lite, and it was Cuervo, and it was alcohol money. I want to mention this because this is part of the conversation because it's lacking right now. That's the party vibe that T20s is talking about, and that created this loose energy that you actually experience at every single professional sporting event ever, right? That is what you do at a sporting event. You know, for most adults, you enjoy an adult beverage and you be entertained. So that's what he's referring to, and I agree with that.
Like every other sport,
every other sport.
Buffalo Bills games,
everything
is going to be.
That's part of it. So without that, it's a drastic difference. It's quiet. It's awkwardly quiet when you watch AVP domestic matches. Even Huntington was great. Again, this is not a bashing session.
And if there was one place that I thought was going to be untamed,
right. And and what comes to mind right now is Stade, right? To get that kind of environment, which is as close to what your T20s is close to what you're talking about. You could go look up Stade, Switzerland, and look up the World Championships there and see that kind of environment. That is just loud and crazy and pyrotechnics and just every single dead ball. There's something going on, and it's just excitement and fun. And on top of that, you had amazing volleyball too, because it's usually world champs there. But or it's a what is Stade? I don't think Stade's a world champs. I think it's a qualifier for a world champs.
Yeah, but it's a 5-star.
It's a 5-star. Thank you. So it's a high level,
or whatever format.
But that when you see that stuff on YouTube, you think, why can't we have that here? And that's what I grew up in a similar energy, right?
Well, the 5-stars, it's called Manhattan Beach.
So, but I grew up in a similar energy with the Miller time, right? And when those basically 97, 98, the late 90s, you had this energy of exciting, fun, beach, untamed, energy. And on top of that, you had alcohol money. The alcohol money was kind of limitless. It was big money, right? And you had like $100,000 for first place, which created intrigue for the fan, obviously the players want that. But now the up and coming players are seeing that and they're like, I want to be a part of that. I want my little, maybe I'll win. Or if I don't win, they paid down to like 17th. And that was so cool. So without the alcohol money, it creates a whole new dynamic. Part of what I'm suggesting is we can still get that kind of money without the alcohol. You can have other brands be involved. I mentioned GoPro and Red Bull. But
then you're going to have to make a decision on kids, right? You can't have that in clubs together, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like put alcohol aside, you can still have that framework, that business framework, which is a big brand, a product that you can consume right there. That's the other part, right? It's difficult to have a brand that you can't, like, you see it, it's in your face, you're like you're there, but then you can't enjoy it right there. That's why an energy drink is good, because it opens up all ages. That's why GoPro is cool, because you can actually put it in your hand and be like, oh, this is cool. That's why Nike's cool, because then you could go directly to the Nike tent, buy some stuff, take it home with you. So that's where my mind goes when it's like, when I see a comment like that, which is like, can we get back to that environment? Yes, we could, if the stakes increase. Because back then, when it was a party, and even before that, like the late 80s and early 90s, is really the heyday, right? That was the awesome, like, leading up to the 96 Olympics. You had increased things on the line, right? And that's my biggest point. Like, put something on the line. Even if, like, what if you just what if you aligned, you as an AVP, what if you aligned with like Hawaiian Airlines, and like the winners get to go to Hawaii? Or what if you aligned with like a cruise company, and like the winners got a cruise, or something big that was cool, that like created something on the line? And even those things are just examples. You could actually think bigger than that, but put something on the line to create care, to create intrigue, to create that party environment. Because without those things, I still, at me as a fan, I don't know what we're playing for. It looks like glorified pepper.
I also think it involves good timing for camera people. Like, if you look at the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
The Olympics, I think, had at least a 6 camera set. Zoom in on the right people, the right time. If you remember, they had a little spat in the gold medal match, and then the DJ played Imagine by like John Lennon.
Yeah.
And they zoomed in on the 4 players,
Yeah.
right?
And they all started laughing.
And Duda's like laughing, and
Yeah,
what's her
yeah.
name's laughing. You know who wasn't laughing? Agatha.
Agatha.
Patricia.
Patricia, yeah.
She was not.
She's ready to win
I
the next
just want to
point.
say she wasn't. I was laughing the person I was laughing at the hardest was her, because
Yeah.
there was smile.
Yeah,
Then when
yeah.
the 4th camera went to her, she still did net like this. That chick wasn't happening. And when she won, even after she won, Duda had to push her and say, "Dude,
Yeah.
we won gold medal," and then she snapped out of it. So, but that was the real thing, and.
Right.
Forget the GoPros. Just get real cameras. And this is as speaking as an actor. And Jason could have said this, because Jason's still doing film right now as we speak.
Right.
This room has a lot of history. If you look around this room, right? But does the camera see it? No. So they don't care. Right? And my point is,
You got multiple cameras though.
Yeah, but my point is, if the camera catches it, the audience.
I hear that.
There is a lot going on the sidelines.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with some of the referees. I mean, football, you catch someone picking their nose. You catch Sanchez eating a hot dog on the side. So
good point.
Just work a 6 camera set. Get the audience. I'm telling you, the AVP is doing that right now. They're right there.
Yeah.
They just need that one thing, like the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter, to catch. And when it catches, they're gonna go from the red to the black, and it's gonna be fun. And I mean, look, I moved here with an agenda. My agenda was to commentate, but I knew that me coaching, and me doing the podcast, and I knew these things, and sharing my knowledge, I'm more exclusive. What I don't know, is just as valuable, as a sales point as I did. And there's a part of me that desperately wanted to be a part of that, but if Rob's, if Rob and Victoria, if that's their people, that's cool. But let's make sure they come with that same energy. Let's make sure they become better versions of themselves every week.
Yeah.
Robert Sparrow's a very deserving individual. We go back, right? You go back far enough where he's doing like the Irvine games.
Oh yeah,
right.
For sure.
So
yeah, no, he's awesome.
These opportunities are deserving, and
but like I said, my point is that there's room for more. And I also wanted to make sure that we already gave the McKibben brothers love, but I'll give them even more love, because you mentioned the camera work, and my mind went right to the McKibbens.
Their timeliness has improved significantly.
It's awesome.
Look, they got an army of people, I find it weird that I'm saying that's what they're supposed to do, but at the same time, they're not paid to care. They do it with a level of TLC, and they're always going to have my respect for.
And there's a comment right there. T20's Grunt said, just think that McKibben's 4-man, that had a bunch of views and comments, and it LS because it captures that vibe.
Right.
And it,
And why somehow, some way these things have to come up on my wall more.
I still think that there should
They
be more on the
they're
line.
not.
Like even looking at your shirt right now, nobody cares. Work harder, you know.
I wore this shirt specifically for today
Like,
because I knew what we would be talking about.
you know, make me care. Like, I'm your number one super fan, and my care is lacking.
Right.
Like, I wish I cared more. And this is just me being authentic and vulnerable right now. Like, I'm like your number one fan, AVP. I wish I cared more. I really do. I legit wish that I cared more, you know? And I it's not quite there because I don't know what's happening. If
I kind of do. And
You care?
it's really what
Do you care?
about what's happening?
Do you
Yeah.
care who wins? Do you
Who
care?
wins?
Do you care? Do you care in general? Like, what? Give me your framework of care. What do you need for you to care?
Well, for me to care, I have to be invested in the characters. I have to be invested in the storyline. In order for me to take time, my precious time, which these days with what I got going on, I mean, I'm on the phone with Jason for Christ's sakes,
Yeah.
right? My time is exceptionally valuable. And mind you, I'm not like a lawyer. I'm not
Yeah.
like a doctor. I'm not like a working professional who wants to do this on their spare time.
Yeah.
Shape the story. If I'm in a movie theater, if the first 10 minutes are not good, you might lose me or I might stay with you.
Right.
Do you want
Right.
to do you want to take that chance?
That's a good
So
point.
the answer is I do care. I don't really care who wins because I'm more of a purist than I am a follower of a particular character. So I'm more of a
Okay.
purist and as far as the ensemble cast of characters and not, but I do have my guilty pleasures. I'm a Theo fan, I'm a Trevor fan, and I become a Cory fan, right?
So on that point,
Yeah,
I have certain players that I'm fans of like that too.
right. We have our
Right.
exceptions.
Like Miles Evans, that's my guy. Like I
Yeah.
root for him all the time.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
happy
who
for
wouldn't?
Miles Partain, but like I was rooting for Miles Evans because that's my guy.
Who wouldn't want to root for Miles?
You know,
Evans?
like and same with Taylor Crabb. I'm just a fan of his, you know, so I'm like I'm invested and I care if he wins because I'm rooting for him because
Yeah.
like I'm a fan. But
And I'm
like
a fan of Trevor, right? So
but
I'm always want to see the big brother beat down.
and that's cool too. And I'm a fan of Trevor as well. Trevor's an
Mhm.
amazing underrated player, by the way.
Yeah.
Like he's awesome at every skill. You could actually make a case who's better, Trevor or Taylor.
I already made that case.
Okay.
But who's more intriguing? Who does the camera like more? It's Taylor. Who's the better Crabb? I mean, look at their history with equal partners.
It's kind of a
Right. There's not, but no one had like a huge significant partner advantage.
right. I'd say, I mean, oh man.
Taylor had Gibb, right? And Trevor had 3 different partners and couldn't beat him until he could.
It's almost
He
like
had Rosie, right?
yeah.
And the first time he beat him on, or at least on that stage, was at Manhattan Beach with Rosie.
I'm closing my eyes because I'm watching their games in my head. It's almost a toss up. Like Taylor maybe is a little smoother with his mechanics. Yep. Trevor, a 4-time Manhattan Open winner, like is a winner. You know, knows how to win. And as a
tools in a toolbox,
incredibly underrated defender. Like I'm impressed with his defense.
Yep.
For a big guy. But anyway,
Gibb was huge.
My point, aside from the people, my point was the caring part, which is I would like to care more. I really would. And I think seeing something on the line, like a bigger thing on the line, would help me care. And I would like that. I would like to see.
But we're only speaking for ourselves here, right?
No, for sure.
The reason why I even wore the shirt is because not everybody shares my personal or professional sentiment. You know,
yeah.
But the camera loves Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Well,
if there was a draft, he can be drafted in any city and have the same amount of fans.
T20's Grunt just said Taylor is a better player. Trevor is a better entertainer. That's pretty well said.
Well, I mean, if you look at their head-to-head, I think Trevor won 10 of the last 14 meetings. So, and this is someone that goes back. Who guys? Trivia question. Okay. Well, rhetorical question. Who videoed their first meeting ever in the winners bracket, 2017, Hermosa Beach, California? The AVP didn't even have a center court camera back then until the semis and finals. That was me.
Yeah.
NY Varsity Sports. Look it up.
That's awesome.
And I had a camera, and my introduction made everyone in the bleachers were like, okay, he's cool.
No, that is cool. But I have a question for the audience. Like, what makes you guys care about? Let's just talk AVP, because maybe hopefully they'll watch this.
Yeah.
And then this will help, right?
Some watching.
What is it?
Yeah.
What are some aspects of the game? Is it the money? Is it the prize money? Is it the name on the pier? Is it just the Instagram post it'll show who, like, what is it? Is it just your favorite player? What makes you care? Because I think that's a big part of this conversation.
I mean, it's not our job to answer it. Our job is to shape the question. And for all of us to answer together.
That's right.
But maybe I can help.
Okay.
2018, Taylor Crabb and Jay Gibb against Phil and Nick. This is Manhattan Beach, California. A lot of people follow Taylor from the first round when he played Troy Field and Orlando Irizarry. Troy's first main draw.
Okay.
All the way to the finals. Taylor's up 1-0. Everything he touched, the fans are like, oh, then he gets the kill. Yeah. He'll get another dig. Oh, yeah. So he's up 1-0. He's up 20-18, right? He gets another dig, a crazy shoestring dig that us coaches would never teach our kids technique and process. Do not try that at home. Do not teach your kids that.
Okay.
That is for him and him only. He gets a dig, and Gibb brings it back like a lemons to lemonade set.
Sure.
Taylor sees the 4-block switch. He knows he can beat Phil on the challenge cross. His eyes get big because he sees it, and he sees the championship, cementing his legacy forever. And he hits it just long.
Right.
And the way the energy left the stadium against someone as nice as Phil, someone as cool as Nick, everybody was all Taylor Crabb.
Right.
And I'm not giving them the direct answer, but I'm going to tell the story that I hope. And what they did when he missed was he punched Phil awake.
Mm-hmm.
Phil was out, but then Phil got slapped and woke up and won the second set and won the third set. That was 2018.
Yeah.
And there was a 5-year period that man had to wait for his moment. That moment came in 23 against his brother, and with a tsunami or some kind of freaking hurricane coming. I'm sure you were there, right? One under these crazy, rainy, swervy, windy, rain upward, downward. Let's get the hell out of here conditions. But I took that journey with Taylor.
Yeah, for sure.
Taylor is someone. Like, if he wants to come on a podcast, he could take it or leave it. But you know me, I like interesting people. He's an interesting person.
Yep.
I would love for him to walk through that with me.
Right.
And that's answering the question without the words. But I hope that can provide as we answer this question.
You became a fan. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
I cared.
You cared.
When he missed the air left I said, oh, and as a coach, and as a pessimist, and as a hater from New York, I said that was it. I said he's not going to win now. I said no.
Let me ask you this.
That was his shot.
I know.
My heart broke for him. And if I'm not the only one that felt that.
But that's good. That's that emotional connection to a player from a fan is good. But I want to ask you a question, and you could read this comment if you want. But my question, in relation to what you just said, that emotional connection that you made as a fan, can that happen in the league? Can a fan base be created by these teams, these franchises because I think that's their idea. I think they want to.
It would be that game on steroids. The answer is yes.
So I think the idea is there.
You have a home team. Someone that people pays tickets to see. Signed jerseys.
Right. So we're on the same page there. But what determines who goes to what team? It feels really random right now.
And that's the question I'd like to pose for everybody, because I think from a regional perspective, I just said on this very podcast that if NOLA had their own team, they would pick him over Phil.
Well, the EVP tried to do this. Remember the EVP, East Coast Volleyball Professionals, I think it was, and it was like Delray Beach.
Mark Porhaley was tearing that league up, wasn't he?
But that was cool because you had jerseys that said Delray Beach, you had jerseys that said, wherever you were from, and that was cool. right? That created a ladder. I go back to my point is like, where's the ladder? The ladder is you go in regional tournaments and you try to get points and you go up from there. To me, that would be sweet. Imagine Santa Monica playing Hermosa Beach. Imagine San Diego playing Los Angeles. You want to go bigger. And then you could go to states if you want, California versus New York. I mean, that to me makes more sense than coming up with random team names.
It was great for me, though.
You liked it?
It was great.
Okay.
It was great because it
I
goes
appreciate
back to that Manhattan Beach thing. Because I always approaches these games from a coach's perspective, and I know my wife when she watches it with me, she wishes I would shut up because I already know what play's coming next, and I'm breaking down this and that. And I didn't watch that game, that match, as a purist. I
Okay.
watched that game as a fan.
Oh, that's cool to hear.
And even though I'm more of a fan of Trevor, Taylor's always had my respect. Taylor is the kind of guy that if he promised you an interview and has to board a flight, he'll sit there for the 25 minutes and do the interview, which, by the way, he did when he won AVP New York.
Yeah.
He won that,
right.
and gave me, didn't board, could have checked in, make sure he got all his bags in the right place, and actually stayed and did the 20-minute interview. And then afterwards text me because he knew that I said on a previous podcast, neither Taylor's going to win one. And he texted me, dude, you need to work on your future seeing skills, bro. Like he did, he took the time to poke fun after that. He still gave me the interview even after I was, even after I was a hater.
That's cool.
So
he's great.
He'll always have my respect. But for that one day, I was guilty. I was a fan.
T20's grunt reminds me of the way I blow up the chat sometimes.
Yeah. He's great. You know why? Because
might have to paraphrase all this, bro.
Listen, he's running point for Jiba, for Karch Jiba.
I love it.
So here's how these lives.
We love it, by the way. Keep it coming. T20.
No, but T20, this is how it starts. There's one person that communicates with us, and there's two. And as I continue to keep doing these live streams, and we can continue to communicate, people who are watching it want to jump in. They're going to start commenting.
Yeah.
And I just saw this happen with a political podcast called Political Orphans.
Mm-hmm.
And now the comment section's lit up. Revolutionary Blackout Network, the Sabby Sabs podcast. Everyone goes every week because the timing. Because you know what happens if I do this the same time every week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, consistency.
Everyone will. Everyone will
AVP.
Come. So I think it starts with guys like you, and this is gonna blow. I'm doing Kristen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yo, tell all your friends. Tell whoever can listen. Whoever's listening to this live. Kristen Nuss is tomorrow at 11 o'clock Pacific time.
That's cool.
I'm doing Political Orphans at 10. I'm gonna talk about cheap prescription medications for the political orphans, and then after 10 o'clock I'm jumping right on with Kristen.
That's cool.
And that's a conversation because Kristen likes to conversate. She's
amazing defender,
more than being interviewed.
Going back to the league format for a second.
Yeah.
The teams, and do you foresee them becoming franchises where they could technically like recruit?
That's
and
the gamble. Do you see the gamble now? Putting your chips on the table?
Because I'm just thinking again, this whole conversation is framed for AVP success. I'm looking, we want a thriving league. So I'm just kind of thinking out loud right now, which is like, okay, you have these can you pull them up? I just want to see them. It's like the Nitro. Teams? Yeah, the teams, the Dallas Dream. I don't have them memorized.
Me neither. I'm gonna, as you continue to talk,
so you have these teams, right? And they remind me of franchises, right? And you could probably convince me to get over the corny part of it because it is a little corny and cheesy, but I could move through that because I like it, because I like the fact that it's bigger than just a player name, because the players come and go, right? The players come and go. So if the AVP league could make me care more about a franchise that I could get behind, that would probably increase my care.
Right. Now, I couldn't find the names. I could only find the teams, the tracker. And if I zoom in, if they let me, you got San Diego Smash, you got the Dream, you got Nitro. Now, to answer your question the best way I know how, 6 of these 8 cities would have the means and the interest to franchise it. If they had a team in Florida, Wed Bush or some people would franchise it. If they had a team in New York, John Stossel, who's a big volleyball guy, the guy from 2020, He wouldn't do it himself, but he might know a guy who knows a guy, and the next thing you know,
Right.
next thing you know, you're gonna have celebrities endorsing, franchising that team. And I think this may have been the super objective of what they've been trying to do as far as putting all the chips on the table.
There's
I
the
will
full
not
list.
profess to know. Oh, cool. Let's see it. Oh, this is the website.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll do that.
Yeah, just because we want people to see all the names if you're not familiar with the names.
I mean, I don't think the names are significant as much as the cities.
But
You know?
I agree, but they are significant because we
Why?
go back to caring. I'm going to come back to that word. Make me care about my team. Like the Los Angeles Lakers, that's my team.
Jeez.
I
And
know.
how they come up with Lakers.
Okay,
Right?
that's a minute from
It's not
Minnesota.
like they came up with a snazzy name to move the needle.
I agree. My point though is that I'm not a Clippers fan. I'm a Lakers fan. That is my team.
Right.
Right. So that's my brand awareness that I'm trying to explain is like, make me become a fan of one of these. And if there's only one in Los Angeles, then maybe I'm the LA launch, you know?
What category did you do? Events, compete, merch?
I actually
news?
just clicked on the 2024
the
AVP.
schedule. Got you.
Yeah.
All right. 2025 season, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, got it. So I'm over here, right? Yeah, use your finger, touch that for me.
Well, if you want to show the camera that, you can just show them.
Yeah, on what camera though?
Oh,
They're fixed cameras. They're not roaming cameras.
Yeah, where is it?
And this is a USB-C, so it wouldn't fit your phone.
Wait,
or is it?
Compete.
Oh, this will fit. Hold on. Let's do that. I'll do that.
You know, I'm just saying, like, you want to really identify with your team name, you know? West Coast Beach, my club, West Coast. That's my team name. You know?
It's a great name.
Thanks. And
accessory downloading. Okay, we're here. Let's go to camera 2.
And so there's the team list, the team names. Dallas Dream, New York Nitro, San Diego Smash, Miami Mayhem, Austin Aces. Scroll down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Palm Beach Passion, Brooklyn Blaze, LA Launch.
All of these teams can be franchised.
Are you
because all of them have cities except for Brooklyn.
You're a New York guy. What's your team? You got New York and Brooklyn up there.
Oh, is there Brooklyn?
Yeah.
I don't see Brooklyn. I see Dallas, New York.
Brooklyn Blaze, number 7.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it's Cook again, I might.
So, this is a good point. So, if you're okay, so
that's why I said they should have a draft.
Okay, so that's interesting. So, if your player that you're a fan of is on that team, you are now a fan of that team.
Depends. I mean, are you Lakers all the way, regardless of who plays for them?
Yeah, I am.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. I'm a Brooklyn guy.
Okay. I think it's an important part of this conversation because I think a lot of fans right now are like, what is the league and what are these teams and I think this is all part
of franchises will draft who the people want because those are the butts that are going to be in the seats for the franchises.
Here's another question for the audience. Should the AVP league become a draftable franchise?
Yes. Well, that's a question I'd like to leave out of there.
Okay.
I think it only values. I think they should have a tournament for the spots, and then they have a draft for the people who win the spots.
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
I think the league should be 10 teams, and I think they should have 8 spots and 2 wild cards for the teams that draft spots.
I actually kind of like that.
Right?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Look, there's one of the Florida teams that would want Phil even if he played with John Sutton again, right? They love Phil in Florida, but again in New Orleans, Corey's Michael Jackson and he's Tito. So
yeah.
The LA, it's infinite. New York, the Taylors love New York loves Troy Field, and Troy Field loves New York pizza. Like Troy Field would move there if he got drafted by New York, and so would Theo because he's a Connecticut product.
Sure.
So you see like the association. In fact, Theo did a celebrity side out there with Casey Patterson.
That's right. Yeah.
So Corey Mays, you're good at doing them, but you ain't good at media coverage because I haven't seen a lick of that.
Well, those things are good for the going back to the caring thing,
Right.
those things, those outside of the tournament, those things really help with the caring. I think there's a big part of this, which is I touched on earlier, which is the youth side of it, which is like at these league events, you should have in between timeouts, you should have like the top youth players,
Mhm.
invite them to come and play a quick game to 7 or 10 or whatever the number is. Showcase the upcoming talent. Show all the fans what's coming next. Create this ladder.
Or
I want
maybe
to see
have
more.
like a t-shirt serving competition. Put it on the other court.
Yes,
If you hit it, you get it.
100%. And
Yeah.
it shouldn't just be a T-shirt. No, you should actually get a lesson with Kristen Nuss.
Maybe.
You should make it bigger. You should make it more inclusive, where it's like, oh wow, I get it. I get something bigger.
Never mind a lesson. How about just dinner with Kristen Nuss?
Whatever.
Have you seen that girl throw down? Have you seen TKN eat? That's the second time I brought it up. So now they're gonna be like, "What you saying, Jay?"
And here's Ruth Nelson, play 4x4.
Yeah.
Kids play 4-on-4. Yeah. And T20s. I can't keep up with your comments here, but maybe Jason can here.
Yeah.
I'll read. Do you want me to read a few of these?
Yeah, because we're running out of file room, so we're gonna wrap up.
I can do this all day, bro. T20s. I'm gonna start from the newest one. 2 teams per gender per city would be cool. Kind of get that college match vibe. Can play ones versus ones, 2s.
Got to make it 3 teams then.
Just remember, there's only one court. Okay, so a lot of these ideas are good, but there's only one court setup with a nice little warm up area, so you can't do too much.
Right.
Okay. He says another thing. Is it a he? T20's grunt or she?
Don't know.
Okay. Well, T20s.
All I know is I love them or they.
Yes, they.
Whatever the hell, yo, you my dog. Whether you're a woman or a man.
We appreciate you, whoever you are. But
you
he or she says, they say another thing with the league. If a top team is paired with a subpar team, it dilutes the finals. Agree? Do you agree, Jason?
I'm a dude. Yes.
He says I'm a dude. Okay, cool. What's up, buddy? As a big fan, there is no stake in the teams or league, just the players. Right. And that goes back to my point. Create more of a stake. Ruth Nelson, BYOP. Does that mean bring your own player?
Bring your own parents.
Parents?
She's the founder of all of her practices. She has the parents serve as ball people and assistant coaches.
Better warm them up.
For the parents who want to be involved in their kids, whatever. This woman, you want to have someone on your podcast.
Yeah.
She is a legend. She coached USA Volleyball, I think, for 16 years. And I want you to think about like people like Al Skates or Mario Tribich, my mentor, the USSR guy, and how many times the rules have changed matched with the years they've coached. Like in 1984, you're allowed to block a serve. Right. Think of how many times the rules have changed and those people have evolved and stayed with it. It was like Madonna, like when pop music changed, she changed with it.
Yeah.
You went from like a virgin to Material Girl to La Isla Bonita to like a prayer.
Can I ask her a question right now?
Who?
Ruth?
Sure. She ain't shy. Let me tell you something.
Ruth, go ahead. Okay. Ruth, where's the money in volleyball? Where is the money?
She ain't answering that question. She ain't in it for the money.
Okay, that's fine. But there's, in terms of participation numbers, I mean, there's kids that are playing right now as we speak all over this country, right? So there's money there in the youth sport. Why is there no money in the professional side of it? Is it a question of caring? Because I think it's part of it. I think, like the NCAA.
Well, yeah.
The men's championship was just the other night. Yes, last night, Long Beach State won.
Well, because
did anyone care?
Because club chose controls the power dynamic.
Outside of Long Beach and UCLA people, did anyone else care?
Well, again, club directors control the power dynamic, right? The kids have to play for a certain club if they want to be good or if they want scholarship promises. The AVP doesn't as a large percentage player driven. Right. Like all of them can walk now. They're not making enough money to stay. They can all just walk.
Right.
So there is about appeasing to the players and this and that, but you know that. Like you're a West Coast guy. You know like there's a power dynamic.
Yeah. No, there is.
You know that'll make. I mean, it's in many ways it's good, but in many ways, like it left a bad taste in my mouth when I left. like in the summer in club. I just, these people are grimy, man, because of that, the money, because of that power dynamic. So
there is that, but I
Mhm.
guess my question is more, it's just a bit on a bigger level. What did she say here? I would go watch Tom no matter what court he was on. Tom Selleck. Oh,
Right.
celebrities. Yeah, celebrities it would be great to have more celebrities involved.
Kid play, right?
Um,
Jason Bernard or something like that.
but
Played for SC.
yeah,
Yeah.
but Ruth, I'm also going to ask about I want to say there's 4 indoor pro leagues right now for the women's.
Yeah.
4.
3 that I know, but no.
Okay, that's multiple indoor pro leagues.
Right.
Are people paying to go watch those games?
Yes,
Is that where the money
in the
is?
3 leagues I've seen? Oh, yeah.
Right? And so
And they're doing it right.
So can the AVP league, since we're framing our talk here, take some of that business model and say, okay, then,
Not without
how
a competitor. The 4 leagues exist because it's a competition, and at some
Right.
point, it's made the best league win. The UFC had to survive Pride Fighting FC. They had to survive Bellator, or they had to survive WEC and Strikeforce, which Dana ended up purchasing. By the way, he won the franchise wars, and the
Right.
AVP had to survive a nasty rival with the NVL for a while.
That's a good point.
And
That's America.
and
That's capitalism.
that didn't end
That's a
as
great
well as
point.
I thought it did. I was thinking when the AVP survived that or won that, I was thinking that there would be more unity. Instead, there was something happen with the criticism of Donaldson and the AVP that created this big separation.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
it's a good point.
and trust me, I know. I mean, Bill Kolinsky, I feel I'm responsible for that. Bill Kolinsky came on this very podcast and he didn't trash them. He just said, look, I'm a professional. I want to compete more times a year because more times a year is more
100%.
purse money. I don't want to be selling spatulas. I want to do this full time. And
Selling
that,
spatulas.
well, he didn't say that, but I mean,
That's funny.
But my point is that got him in trouble. And that's how
Yeah.
freaking brittle and like how fragile people's egos and people's franchises were back then.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Bill Bill loves me and we talk all the time.
I love Bill.
But I know he ain't coming back.
That's all right.
And
We love you, Bill.
Kelly went on. You know what Kelly did? Kelly, any question that she thought was gonna get her in trouble, it was short answers. And I was like, you know what? I forgot you're married to him.
Beautiful family.
And she did not. Dude, I wasn't trying to okie doke her. I wasn't trying. You know me, Aaron. I'm not trying to. If I wanted to be controversial, we both know that what I know that comes through my message board, personal phone calls.
Yeah.
I can blow up this podcast
in
a different way that would make
Yeah.
me. But I would be. It would be disgusting.
No, we don't want that.
I don't do
We don't want
that.
We don't want that.
People say what you want about me. I don't do that.
Kolinsky's, you guys are awesome. Beautiful family. Congratulations
Absolutely.
on your new baby.
Little alpha baby too. And this one,
Yeah.
Kelly, she does like 3 sit-ups and get her 6-pack back.
But I wanted to say a point here because the chat there's some good stuff in there. So,
yeah, good, because we got 7 minutes.
Okay.
Then
so
our file runs out.
T20's Grunt said in certain markets they are. Omaha is huge. SLC is big. I want to.
Omaha.
It's a great point. Thank you for that. Nebraska has this beautiful, amazing, large volleyball culture. Could the AVP league go there and get some of that audience base right there? Could they do it? Could they do a showcase there? Because again, we're framing this around the AVP league and the success there. When they showed those kind of numbers in a football stadium for a volleyball game, that was amazing. That was beautiful. What an awesome opportunity that was to kind of create more from that. And that's the
league. That's where the league's going to succeed.
But that's part of my point here, guys. Okay, AVP, please listen to this. All right, if you guys are just create like when I leave a tournament, like I left on Huntington the other day, like make me emotionally be tied to more. Make me as the fan, because like when I left, I was like, cool, that was fun. Now what? Like, emotionally, I'm just being authentic here, right?
I'm a combat sports fan. And the way that they've been promoting fights press conferences,
Yeah.
to the weigh-in the day before. I'm not
Right.
saying volleyball has to do that,
But no, but that's
but
right.
those little 30-second promotional clips.
That's right.
Like, hey, the Taylors are back in New York.
Yes.
And his brother is coming for him.
That's right.
You
That's
know, like
right.
Trevor's with Phil.
100%.
His brother's coming for him.
Create that.
It gets you galvanized. We're like, yo, I'm what? Yeah, hey, baby, what you doing Saturday?
Right.
What you doing Saturday?
That's right.
No, we going to this game. Yeah, we're going to this game. So
Put more on the line. I think that would really help because the lot's on the fighting, that's different because you're kind of life and death's a little bit on the line, which is like, that's a lot. That's everything.
But it's about knowing the pulse.
And that
knowing
belt,
about,
like everyone wants that belt. Like they made it like a thing where if you win, it's a lot. And it's awesome.
Me having a 2,000 view qualifier match was not an accident. It wasn't like a Hawaiian where they have viewership, because Jason's right. Hawaii is like a religion out there, right? Colorado has a huge crowd.
Yeah.
Basie was in the qualifier.
Right. And that
and the only person I actually cared about in the qualifier was Rob McLean, because Rob's my dog.
Shout out Rob.
Rob is not just a friend; he's a brother from another mother.
Yeah.
And when I was chilling with Jeff, I checked my message board and it says Rob McLean is live streaming. I went, and I just dropped everything I had. My shoes, which by the way, Huntington stole. Again, here we go. I had some Olakais. And I took them off, and someone stole my shoes. So, but I ran to Rob's court. But Penberthy, Tyler was like, dude, yo, like Colorado loves this guy. You definitely want to tape this game. And this Austrian guy that Perez is playing with, it'd be great. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, tape my match next. So and Tyler Penberthy's Buffalo, New York. Buffalo, New York has a huge beach and grass crowd out there. And their fours tournament at Lake George is big purse money, dude.
Yeah. All these,
So I knew I did it, but you know what I'm saying? I was strategic. I had 50% agenda, but I just wanted to remind everybody, hey, like I'm back. Yeah. I didn't leave you guys. I'm still here talking smack. And look who just sat next to me. This dude right here, Aaron Wexler.
Yeah.
I don't even care if that runs out anymore. You know why? Because we didn't cuss or nothing. So we kept this neat and clean for Eugene. So this stays up.
This is great, man.
This live stays up.
This is great. And for whoever's in the chat, we appreciate
Pottstown,
you.
Philly crowd. Yes.
Thanks for hanging out with us and talking about these things, because the bigger picture that's going on here is that we all want more thriving energy in not just the AVP, in all of volleyball, right? It's such a beautiful, awesome sport. It's a contagious sport. Part of my mission is to share that passion. I know it is for you too. It's to share the energy of it. The coolest part, and I'll just share a quick little story. At the qualifier, my team, and I'm so proud of them. They're juniors in high school, by the way. Addie Williams and Arlie Hirschberg. Yeah. Great. Shout out, guys. Great playing. And that was like it was bold for them to enter that tournament. It was a really tough tournament, but we ended up, after the first game, we were kind of emotional and just sitting there and just looking around and taking it all in. And, I told them, I was like, man, like you guys are right here. You're here, and you belong here, and believe in that and believe in yourself, and the point is like, I believe in the relationship building quality of volleyball. That's what's so cool about the bigger picture. It was funny because we were sitting there and all these people, I was saying hello to a lot of people, and connecting with people. And I told them, I was like, I've won and lost over the years, but it's the people that have been so cool. You create relationships, you foster those relationships, you create friendships, you maybe even some enemies, maybe. But it's the beauty of this sport is that you get to engage with people and you get to learn from each other, and hopefully you can inspire people and people can inspire you, and you go on this really cool, actually it's kind of a personal growth journey through a ball. And that's kind of the way I like to approach it. And that's why I spend so much time and energy and thought process into it like this, because I want it to thrive. And I think it could be so cool for the next generation,
Yeah. And again, with Colorado, the Basie brothers did that the last couple of
Yeah.
years. They were in Atlanta, that gold series, the last gold series in Atlanta. They beat Hagen and Dietrich, right? Pottstown Rumble, the grass tournament, the most grueling tournament in all of volleyball, made the semifinals.
Yeah.
In a side out big court, right? Made the semifinals in AVP Denver, which T20 said was actually packed. I was there. I was calling court 1, and court 1 was done. Again, this is where I'm gonna give the AVP a little bit. No thanks to you guys. Y'all could at least give me a spot, but lucky for me, Tom Davenport, who made a lot of this happen for me, he's like, look, there's some beach chairs with the SOB crowd, South Border Vacations.
Yeah.
Steve Devlin's there. Go chill with them, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So, so that'll be the only bad thing I will say about the AVP, which and was an otherwise praising podcast of the work they put in and the chances they're taking, and just
doing great.
Just
AVP.
the guts and the brains and what you guys have been doing. I'm so proud of. I'm so I'm happy to be watching and commentating, and I'm back to coaching in the morning. There's a team, 2 guys from Costa Rica and 2 guys from Mexico. I've been coaching a couple of mornings a week. Really solid players. And north of the pier next to the U.S. team, I have this little spot. Of course, Jaron's out there with Fallon. So, Chris Flood, big shout out to you, U.S. team. Glad to see people recognizing your beautiful mind. I've known you since 2016. With you, me, Hagen, Cole Fears, Greg Faulkner, everybody was trying to figure out what their next move was. Well, 18 co-op McLean. But you're not going to get off this easy. We're running out of time.
Okay.
But this live stream is going to stay up. So now I can get whatever I need. If that stops, this keeps going, we're good. I just don't want to lose this.
Pro Studio.
Who's the top 5 female players in the AVP right now? Today.
Well, Nuss and it's not Cloth anymore. She got married. Brasher. You have to put them there. You have to put them in the top.
Yeah, we're not going to do an order because it's a quick question.
They're coming off a win. Right. So you got to put them up there.
They're 2 of my 5. I'll count with you together. Go ahead. I'll go Kelly Chang. I think she's still the best player in the league.
You kind of she has to be at number 3 almost.
Yeah.
Like
if I were to have an order, I'd go 1 and her, 1 and 1A with her and Kristen.
Yeah. From there on out, I got to throw in Brandy. I got to throw in Brandy and Mel.
I like Brandy because there's a good 4 and 5.
Well, it is because you have to, you can't just like throw away the Olympics. They're coming off of Olympics finals.
Yeah.
Right. I know they got the silver, but
how about this one?
Okay.
How about I go Brandy and Gina?
Gina Durango?
As far as who's the best players today.
Oh.
Like next year, Gina might not be, right?
Shout out Gina Durango. What a great player.
Her nutrition, staying
approach.
In shape,
yep.
Surviving the generational elephant push off the cliff by the new girls, and here, and not just here, surviving the reigning defending
I like that.
league champs.
I like that.
Which means now at some point before the end of the season, Antonio Rodriguez is going to be in that conversation. Go LSU, LSU, LSU. LSU. USC. Usk. Right? That's what we're doing right now. Big fan of Savvy and Abby. So whatever they're doing, I'm going to continue to watch them.
Same.
That's my favorite power couple, her and Evan.
Yep.
New power couple in town, right? You got James Shaw and Molly. Then they're both in the league, so that might be the other power couple.
James Shaw,
Woo!
impressive,
smart guy, by the way.
Impressive player,
smart guy, handsome guy. He's the kind of guy you want your daughter to date, but not your son to fight. He's got that all-American look. So, what about men? Let's go 5 men.
Well, you know what my number 1 is going to be?
Phil?
No,
Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Taylor Crabb.
Taylor I have as my 5th defender in the world, so he's definitely one or two in the league.
Yeah, Taylor Crabb. I guess Taylor Sander, even though he's playing indoor right now, but you got to respect that team.
One of my players isn't even in the league.
From there,
I like Taylor and Miles Partain. I like Theo Brunner because he goes with everybody.
Time out. Miles Partain it has to be number 3, but almost is number 2, especially because we're talking indoor facilities. Most of these leagues are indoor. So you can run that option. You can run that quick. You can run that jump set. You can do all.
Which is why you put Sander ahead so far up high.
Yeah,
right?
because no
'Cause-
wind
Yeah.
and Jumpers Beach.
And do you remember that tournament in Phoenix where him and Taylor
That's
just
what I'm saying.
ran roughshod
It's
through
like
everybody?
it looks the net's like right here. It's like
like tennis.
no, it is. So that's why I'm saying. So
That ran out. But
uh
this is still going.
okay, cool. Parteen 3, Banesh 4. Even though like it's I don't know because here's where I struggle, right? Because Hagen,
Wow.
here's the thing with Hagen Smith. And
Jeez, what a winner.
number one, I'm a fan, Hagen. I've told him that to his face. Like, I'm just a fan of his game. I just like the way he went all in. He went all in. And you could talk about being authentic. You can see when a player goes all in, right? Just in general, you can just sense it. You're like, oh, you're all in, aren't you? He's all in. But his game is just so it's exciting. It's exciting to watch him get a dig up and as a defender, I love that. I told you that on our broadcast.
He moves the needle.
He moves the needle. He moves the needle.
What does Taylor Crabb, Hagen Smith, and Ahmed Tijan have in common? When they get a dig, after the dig goes
You're on the
up,
edge of your seat.
you're in the edge of your
Yeah,
seat because
yeah.
you know something gnarly and
That's
something
right.
really cool is gonna happen.
That's right.
Taylor's gonna do something snazzy. Ahmed ain't looking to tip. Save the
Yeah.
tips for the waiters. He looking to just blow it up.
Yeah.
Hagen, has got a really fast swing and just great transition game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time that guy gets a dig, Hagen has entered that category.
Yeah.
And if you had him in your top 5, I say fine because he's
Well,
someone I wasn't thinking about.
I kind of want to give him a tie with Sean Cook.
Right. So I'm going with.
Wait,
sorry.
Can I finish with Sean Cook real quick?
Yeah.
Because Sean Cook, he reminds me of the Troy Field kind of vibe indoor with the league, where I don't know if he's a villain or not, but you you say you either love him or hate him, but
his
like
killer instinct is so much superior.
I'm just a fan of his athleticism. Like when I watch, that's why I'm almost giving him a tie with Hagen because I know Hagen just qualified, but like the way both those guys are crazy jumpers, man. The way they explode off the sand is super fun to watch.
But his mentality, he's there to take your lunch money, dude.
But I like that.
That's
right?
That's
like
where
that.
Cook is not. I don't see that killer instinct that
in Sean Cook
in Field.
Oh, in Field.
So the comparison stops when you're talking about that killer instinct. I'm not saying Field does not have that. I'm saying there's a guy. If you said there's a guy coming here to take my lunch money, who's the first person you're thinking about in the league? It's gonna be Cook.
Yeah, Sean Cook.
Because ain't nobody, and the rest of them, they ain't about that life. They ain't touching my lunch money. Cook, I might have to have a bat for that guy because I think he's serious.
Did I leave Trevor out of the top 5? That's a mistake.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. He has to be in there.
Well, here's mine.
Okay.
I go Partain and Taylor. 1 and 1A.
Are you tying? Is it a tie?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 and 1A. Because tomorrow I'll pick Partain. Today I pick Taylor.
Okay.
I go Buttinger.
Oh, nice.
I go Theo is my 4.
Oh, nice.
I'm going Biggs, huh? And you know what? You talked me into Hagen. It's got to be. It's a 5th. Like I can interchange Cook or Hagen. As far as digs, explosion, their jumps, like the short toss and the jump serve to space, and the dig and just trying to snatch just trying to snatch your soul.
You're right, but dang,
I give it to Hagen because when it was time for them to qualify,
all those are great points.
But no, when it was time to qualify for that one spot, Hagen did it and Cook did not.
Right. And then he threw the glasses and the hats. That was really cool. But Miles Evans, Can I put him in there too?
Put some respect on that boy's name.
I need to. That's my guy.
I'm a fan of Trevor. How I leave Trevor out?
That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's really hard for top 5 right now because all those guys kind of belong right in there.
But this is why you have me here. You need someone a little bit cold and heartless.
I like that
to just leave people out. You need a heartless dude like me to be like, nah, you're in, you're out. Because
all right. So then, but Miles Evans is right in that top.
Oh, let's check out T20's picks. T20, who you got, baby? Partain, Andy, Miles
Evans,
Tay. Don't know who that is.
Taylor Crabb.
Andy, Miles, and P. Chase. He gave me a whole bunch. That's like 6 or 7.
Yeah. Well,
You
that's
disqualify
right.
yourself.
Right. That's
For women, TKN, that's 2. Chang, Brandy, that's 4. Dark horse, Megan Craft.
yeah.
You know what I like? Let's say we leave out someone, and let's say he puts in someone. The winners are us, because this is not a cast aspersions discussion. This is fun.
What about what? Can I make it more fun? Oh, I didn't let you finish your 5 though.
That's it.
Did you?
I already named my
Okay.
5.
What about-
I said interchangeable, Cookin, and
Okay. Well,
and Hagen.
then the more fun part of it would be top 3, no ties.
Oh, for women, that's easy. TKN and Kelly Chang. Kelly
Okay.
Chang's the best player in the league. Again, as far as like who I like or dislike, and not my favorite person in the world, but I ain't blind. That girl could ball.
Let's make sure we give Hughes love. I know she got hurt, but you know she's
Nope, she ain't in that list because she's not the best player today.
That's fine, but
She's
she still gets love from me. She gets love.
She gets we love you and we miss you
Yes.
from
Yes.
2 of the most beautiful minds in the sport, Aaron
Yes.
Wexler and yours truly.
Right. Okay. So men's top 3, man. No ties.
Yep.
Taylor Crabb. Man, I'm going chasing, and
Wait a minute. On this same show, you left Chase out of your top 5.
I know.
And now he in your top 3.
I know. Well, dang it.
Grunt is sticking with us. Everybody smash that like button.
Wait.
Don't forget to smash
Taylor
that
Crabb,
like button.
Miles Partain has to be in there. And
and Bud. Those are your 3.
Yeah, I'm going Chase. I'm gonna go Chase.
For men,
Yeah.
I will go Miles Partain, Taylor Crabb, and Bud.
Oh, same?
Yeah.
So you just dittoed me?
I mean, I think Trevor's the better brother, but as to the question of who's the best players, who are the top 3 today, it's Taylor for now.
Yeah.
Right? This is what? April or May or whatever month this is?
Yeah, May.
It's in right now, it's Taylor.
Yeah.
Trevor backed into the league with Phil.
Oh, that's right. Did Phil get a wild card? Did they get a wild card for that? Yeah.
Taylor didn't back into the league. He super sub with Billy Allen and probably led the league in blocks that day.
Shout out Evie Matthews, Taylor's coach, because Taylor, you're a generational player, but Evie is squeezing more out of you.
Agreed. Well, Evie's been doing more with less all his career until he finally got a break and got to coach good people and got Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kalinsky over the hump.
That's right.
Manhattan Beach, right?
That's right. Even Coach Brandy for a little bit. I was there.
Big MMA fan.
And just you know me, I always talk about Evie. I just love Evie's energy and his calmness and his approach to this game and his passion. And talk about someone who's got knowledge for beach volleyball right there.
He really is. He's a beautiful mind. He's someone, dude. I'm gonna slap you up, Evie, if you go on another podcast or not. Look, everyone, I'm not their cup of tea, right? Like Joe Rogan's not gonna have Kevin Hart or Eddie Murphy. He got his people. I got my people. But Evie is someone that I wanted to have on because it wouldn't just be volleyball. His mind works in that way in other sports. And me and him could talk UFC.
Oh yeah, you guys could
all day.
I've had personal hours, 2+ hour conversations with Evie on beach volleyball.
Banesh.
You know, Banesh, going back to that list, it's tough to leave him out. You know, he's kind of like, I know Partain gets most of the serves on that team.
He's going to be the big when everyone's gone.
Well, Phil
on his way out. I think
I was going to
Theo's done.
Well, I was going to pose the next question, which is like bigs. If you want to list the bigs,
top 3 bigs is Bud, Banesh, and 3 ones. The 3rd one we got to fish for a little bit.
I was going to say Logan Weber.
I was just going to say Logan Weber. They
just qualified, but you know.
Yep. Who else? I mean,
well,
what else are we talking about?
Well,
you
give
it to Billy Allen after on Sunday.
Blocky machine. You could say, excuse me. You could say Phil. You could say Phil if you wanted to.
Phil still then, yeah, you're right. Theo, I'm 90% sure he's done because Theo said the only reason why he came back is because Phil had the idea to do that, and he as far as the investment and the time in and where his family is and stuff like that, he was on the podcast, and though he didn't say it, and you know I'm a pretty well sourced individual. pretty sure, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm a fan. I will
Yeah.
follow him to whatever end.
Same.
I'll follow him till the nurses wheel him out and
Same.
be like, lift my wheelchair so I can block, right? But I think he's done. I think the money that he needs and for what he has, I think. Yeah, and he said he's
Get
going
it.
to coach Partain and Banesh.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool to have him there,
Love
just
Theo.
hitting balls and blocking at him. And
World-class blocker.
Chase Andy, and I like the question mark. Shaw's
Not
got
yet.
some hang time,
Not
man,
yet.
on those line overs. Just like, and you can say the same thing about Weber. So how about
True,
how
but
about female bigs? Chang, Brasher,
Brasher number 1 over Chang.
Brasher, and who else?
Chang is right there. Brandy.
Oh, I forgot, dude. She takes the elevator up, dude.
Brandy.
But I'd like to do a special mention of our future star, Zolani Hodel, who is just a great presser, disciplined hands. I don't know if you watch her a lot, but you had a 3-set sample size that gave a growing boy everything he needs to know about one Zolani Hodel.
Great whip of a like an offensive whip, right?
Yeah. She's also, you could see the college self-correction when she shanks a ball. You see she doesn't have a funk of serve receives.
Yeah.
That's we see some pros. She fixes it the very next play. You'll see this hold, or you'll see her maybe even make a second move.
By the way, just in case the AVP doesn't take action on any of these ideas, just in case, it's totally possible. I hope all these players that we're mentioning now and all the other players go take your own initiative. Go get your own sponsors. Go write up a one sheet. I was trying to explain that to my players. They're like, "What's a one sheet?" Just ask ChatGPT to make you a one sheet. Create a one sheet for yourself. Put yourself out there. Provide for the marketplace. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, me too. I guess that's all we got. I'm not doing lightning rounds with the guy who's already here 3 times, right? It's still going to be beach
here.
over pool and beach. It's still going to be, all that other stuff. Anybody want to know what you've been up to, man? Tell them about, I'll of course run the book, but like, what's your website and what's your Insta? So people can know what Aaron's next move is.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Jason, again, for all the hard work you do for the whole volleyball community. We really appreciate it. That
means something. Ooh, that means something every single time. Because to me, I don't need a lot of appreciation, but just to know that I'm not hated on all the time, where I have to be like, yeah, I hate you too. To just the little bit of love is great.
It really,
and it means a lot to my wife who sees me through a particular lens that she would like the others to see what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And some of it's agenda driven. My agenda is to commentate, of course. But this is the most innocent thing you will ever see in the sport of volleyball and beach volleyball. I'm just here to have a conversation. There is no agenda. There was an agenda for you and me about covering our thoughts for Huntington Beach.
Sure.
But the majority of these podcasts, and I'm on 240 tomorrow.
Let's go.
Episode 240 tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Kristen Nuss, guys. None of it's I just want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And you can take it or leave it.
That's awesome, man.
But I love all of y'all too. Amen to that. Ruth Nelson, who's my biggest fan.
Yeah, and shout out to everyone watching and participating in Ruth Nelson and what was it?
T20 Grunt,
T20.
baby.
Like, appreciate you guys for
Karjiba, who left, who's gonna watch the rest of this later.
We appreciate you guys for being a part of it, man. Like at the end of the day, we all just kind of want to encourage each other, right? We like my whole thing is like a rising tide lifts all ships.
Exactly. Also, comment section. If you guys would prefer that I do this the same time every week, where it's just something where you can, like your HBO show, leave in the comment section, be like, hey, Tuesday or whatever, Tuesday at noon, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Because Political Orphans, the other podcast, it's grown because they're 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
5 days a week, every morning. They do not sleep. They are savages.
Yeah.
One Republican space ranger and one liberal guy, and I'm their centrist guy.
No, that's great.
But before I go, Ruth Nelson, You came on episode 162 and you said, "What took so long for me to get you on?" And I answered it by saying I was not worthy. I had to get some street credit before I dared to bend the knee and humbly ask the great, legendary Ruth Nelson to come on this podcast.
That's cool.
And that's how I feel about her as an icon, and how I feel about you as a friend. I can parrot the same sentiment. It
That's
is my
cool, bro.
honor, my duty, and my privilege to have Mr. Wexler on this podcast.
Thank you so much, Jason. I really do appreciate it. You asked me about websites.
Yeah, go ahead.
My Instagram is awexla. Come give me a follow and then shoot me a DM and engage with me on Instagram, awexla. My podcast is Within the Game on YouTube.
Yes, tell me about your last guest.
Yeah, last guest was a great one. I did a little coaches panel. So if any coaches are out there wanting to hear some inside ideas, mindsets, frameworks on coaching and the future of inspired coaching, you can check out my last show on Within the Game featuring John Mayer of LMU and also Coach Your Brains Out podcast, Billy Allen from Stanford Beach Volleyball and also Coach Your Brains Out, and Travis Mayweather from Sandcast and also Florida State.
So two great coaches and assistant coaches. They're more involved in volleyball instead of the administrative stuff. So that's a great, beautiful minds podcast. Well, John Mayer's the head coach.
Yeah.
But Billy Allen didn't surprise me being a good coach. Travis Mayweather didn't surprise me either. When you talk to them and you see how their mind works, you're not surprised that they land immediate success.
That agree. And that was actually a part 2 from the part 1 that they all did that I was so inspired by. I reached out to them and I said, I'd like to continue that conversation, which is basically an exploration of these concepts in coaching that we all like to talk about.
Guys, I'm also going to do a 4-person panel for club beach volleyball coaches. And I'm looking for like a Midwest rep. I have a Chicago rep, Progressing Beach Volleyball, the indoor beach facility of the founder, Brian McDermott.
Cool.
One of the most highly intelligent people to ever meet. I'd love to have you on to represent the West Coast.
I'm there.
And Bobby Jones will represent Texas.
Yeah, Bobby.
So 3 different regions, 3 different protocols, 3 different recruitment processes, 3 different ways to make trips to these Get Noticed showcases. I think it would be an engaging conversation, a little 4-way panel. If you're interested, so I'll send a mass email out. But that's my next intention, maybe next week or the week after that. But for now, love all you guys. This is Aaron Wexler. Where's he at? I'm Jason DeBillius. This is the Option Podcast. And guys, we're out of here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Love all of you guys. 2 pieces. Peace.
Peace.
Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear. And did it.